ZDGE going to halt to the downside here at 308. I don't have my trading screen up, but I can just tell you, oh, there it is, false halt right back up into 313. So a lot of zig and zag today with these small cap gappers. We're going to definitely keep an eye on Joseph. Anything you're looking at as we wait for people to come on in?
No, I'm actually just looking at RGTI a little bit here, folks. Nothing crazy going on for me this morning. As we do know, we are heading into the holiday season. So today is a little bit of a quiet one for your boy Joe here. But again, looking at RGTI, nothing spectacular. I'm not looking to put on anything monstrous for the upcoming dates until maybe the new year, right? Because we know it's like we got a day off, we're in for a half day, then another day off. So nothing really, no real consistent flow for my style of trading, and that's totally fine because the market will be open in the new year, and then we can get the ball rolling once again here, folks. But again, just looking at RGTI, Rom putting in an absolutely fantastic session as well too. Missed out on that one, totally fine. There's going to be more of those to come. And I'm just watching kind of Bitcoin start to pull back and do that kind of that retracement that we've been looking for the past little while. I mentioned not too long ago I didn't love the price action on this thing from the daily, especially on this leg here. I mentioned it seemed kind of laggard. It wasn't the type of momentum that we were kind of anticipating. That volatility skew didn't step in. We didn't get those massive green days where you're putting in like 10%, 7.5%, and so on. And sure enough, now we're pulling back. But I do have somewhat of a thesis here that I want to see if it does play out, folks. I don't know why this is okay, but anyways, yeah. So I have this candle. It was showing up a slightly different print here on TradingView, so maybe I'll look at that chart as well too. But as long as we can hold this candle's low, then maybe I'm thinking that we just consolidate in this phase. It does a little liquab past it, and then we head back to the northeast. But as of right now, this thing's slightly bearish. I'm not expecting too much from Bitcoin in the immediate future, so I'm just gonna pack my patience on that one. And other than that, man, I'm just chilling out, seeing what the market's up to. A little bit of a choppy mess. There's no doubt about that on the Qs on this front. So tech stocks kind of just chopping around, especially NVDA. Yeah, it's not the prettiest hourly chart there.
That's a good-looking inverse head and shoulders.
Yeah, you like that? You like that boom, and then you think we can break some key resistance levels here, brother? Yeah. So there you go. Good look there, Sharif. So that's why there's good having good eyes, because I wouldn't even have noticed that there. But we got some nice indecision candles here as well too. And then look at these strong engulfing candles here, Sharif. Just engulfing all this previous session. So those are good looks there. That can show some relative strength, especially after the FOMC here, folks. So let's see what's coming up in the coming hours. But we're going to send it off to Adara real quick.
Hi, here on BAC, we had some intense selling with volume a couple minutes ago. Now the catalyst coming through. According to the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, this group has issued a cease and desist orders against Bank of America for BSA deficiencies. So Office of the Comptrollers of Currency have basically accusing here BAC, Bank of America, of some of these deficiencies and issuing a cease and desist order. So keep an eye on BAC. Trying to rebound here after some selling, guys. Back to you.
Bank Secrecies Act, guys. That's what BSA stands for. Their Bank Secrecies Act and Sanctions Compliance Program. Very good. Thank you, Adara. Excellent reporting. We're going to keep an eye on that big volume spike, taking that below the consolidation low. Bank of America now down, Joseph, 2.5%. But we're going to weasel in to the lesson, and it's not a slow. Hey, we got a lesson, man. It's not really a slow day in small cap gap world, so I'm gonna have hopefully I'll have some fun after we're done this lesson. But it is a slower day if you're usually trading these Mag 7 names, etc. So maybe throw your learning caps on right now, and let's talk about Chapter 4 of John J. Murphy's technical analysis of the financial markets. We're talking about reversal days. And this is great because, we've been moving up very aggressively in the market lately. So it behooves us to get ready for what a reversal day could look like. But before we're going to do that, we got some bills to pay, Joseph. So let's get right to it.
Got some bills to pay, my guy. So let's jump right into it. Trade ideas. This Christmas, give yourself the gift of smarter trading with Trade Ideas. Don't miss out on 25% off all subscriptions, including upgrades to premium, unlock powerful trading tools, insights to take your strategies to the next level. But hurry, this special offer ends December 26th. Use code TraderTv.live at checkout to save big. Visit TradeIdeas.com today and make the most holiday season your most profitable one yet, folks. So Trade Ideas, make sure you scan that QR code, hit the link in the description, and yeah, 25% off, and we'll take that.
We'll take that
We'll
any
take it
day
of the
right
week.
there, baby.
We'll take that any day of the week.
All right, guys, so today we'll dive into the concept of reversal days, a key chart pattern used to identify potential market turning points. This concept is particularly useful in trend analysis, where understanding the market, when the market might reverse, is crucial for effective trading strategies. So, reversal days, they can signal the end of an uptrend, the end of a downtrend, and recognizing them early, especially early, can help traders make more informed decisions. We'll explore the characteristics of a top and a bottom reversal and the significance of volume in reversals and how these patterns can be extended to the weekly, the monthly, and whatever time frame off which you're charting. So let's get right to it, as we always do. We're going to explain things from a very high level. What is the definition of a reversal day? So the book says a reversal day occurs at the top or the bottom of a trend and signals a potential turning point. There are two types of reversals, as I alluded to. There's a top reversal. Prices reach a new high, then they close lower than the previous day's close. I'm going to say that again. We reach a new high, and then we close lower than the previous day's close. That is a key characteristic of it. The bottom reversal day, the exact opposite. Prices hit a new low, but they close higher than the previous day's close. That is the standard off which we base a reversal definition. Okay, and here's the slide, right? There's a top reversal day. Look where we end up closing. Okay, we waffle, and then we end up closing, as if anybody who knows bar charts, we close below the previous day's close. Kind of the opposite over here. We make a new low, and then we end up closing higher than the previous day's close, which is over here. So that's the definition, technically, of when we mean a reversal day. So what are some of the characteristics of a reversal day? Typically, prices open strongly in the direction of the current trend. So a new high for a top reversal or a new low for a bottom reversal. But then later in the day, prices reverse direction. They create a sharp move against the trend by closing either lower or higher, obviously depending on the reversal type. We just posited two. The range, which here is defined as the distance between the high and the low of the day, is usually wider than normal, indicating a significant market action that has taken place with that particular name. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking for there. Those three characteristics kind of what define what we mean by a reversal day. And then there's also an important role that volume plays in reversal. So heavy volume on a reversal day adds weight and significance to it. So for example, if a top reversal occurs on higher than usual volume, it could indicate strong selling pressure. And similarly, a bottom reversal day with high volume is often referred to as a selling climax, quote unquote, where sellers are exhausted and then buyers take over and they take control. You've often heard me use the term buyer exuberance, not exactly the way that I would use it in this particular case, but it is the point at which buyers are saying to the sellers, nope, that's enough. We're moving on up from here. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. And if you're asking me, if you're thinking, well, Sharif, how do I know that particular day is above average volume? A few ways you can do it. You can look at the relative volume. How much R-vol are we doing on the day relative to, or how much volume are we doing on the day relative to the relative volume as compared to the relative volume? Are we doing 1 times R-vol, 2, 3, 4? If you don't have your R-vol indicator, bottom right-hand corner, Trade Ideas gets you that indicator right there, and you get 25% off today. In addition to using relative volume, you can just have a perfunctory look at the volume bars on whatever time frame you're charting. You're executing on the daily, have a look at the previous volume bars. Is today's volume bar, one that stands out relative to the bunch previous? So, several ways you can have an assessment of whether volume is or higher than usual or not. So as we mentioned, a couple of types of reversal days. The top reversal day, let's get into that. So in this case, price moves to a new high during the day, but reverses to close below the previous day's close. Again, very key in this definition. So this is indicating that the bullish momentum that was subsisting is starting to weaken, and it could signal the start of a downtrend. This is kind of what we're looking at here. This candle created a new high, but closed near its daily low during an uptrend. Notice how the trend started to reverse the following day. And look what ended up happening. We ended up tanking. I'm talking about the top candle right here, okay? The bottom reversal day, the exact opposite. Prices make a new low, but reverse and close higher, signaling an exhaustion of the selling pressure. This day often marks the end of a downtrend and is commonly referred to, as I mentioned, as the selling climax, so to speak. And that's exactly what we got over here with this black candle at the bottom. We whiffled, we waffled, and we ended up making a much higher, we closed a lot higher, and then look at this. We ended up closing higher than the next day's close, okay? But there are additional patterns that we need to account for here, something called the outside day, when both the high and the low on the reversal day exceed those of the previous day. The reversal becomes even more significant, forming what we call an outside day. This pattern suggests heightened volatility and is often associated with important turning points, as shown into the next figure, highlighting, well, this next figure here highlights the Dow Jones Industrial Chart from October 28th, 1997. And you see we had an upsized reversal day right there, right at the bottom right there, okay? And then another one, this was on a downtrend, obviously, and you can see here one on an uptrend. So there's also the importance of the weekly and monthly reversal. So reversal patterns are not limited, obviously, to daily charts. They also occur on the weekly and the monthly time frame. A weekly reversal is more significant, obviously, than a daily because it reflects a longer-term shift in market sentiment. For instance, an upside weekly reversal happens when prices drop during the week, but recover to close above the previous Friday's close. That's the time frame off which we're basing that weekly outside day, okay? These longer-term reversal patterns tend to have more importance than the daily reversals, obviously. Anytime you see a pattern on a higher time frame, it's most of the time more important than one you see on the lower time frame. Not a hard and fast rule, but one that usually holds true. So what are the practical applications of this whole idea? So let's start first by identifying reversals in real time. That's one of the obvious practical uses of this information. So traders should monitor price action closely near both support and resistance, depending on which trend we're heading, for signs of reversal. Watch for heavy volume and an extended price range during the day, which often precedes the reversal. Pay close attention to the close of the day, as it's the most important indicator in a reversal pattern. We obviously mentioned that you have to close higher than the previous day's close or lower than the previous day's close to be considered a reversal day. But it's also important in incorporating reversal days with your trading plan. So use reversal days as confirmation when planning entries or exits. For example, after a bottom reversal day, traders might consider entering a long position if the reversal is confirmed with subsequent bullish action. Conversely, after a top reversal, exiting a long position or initiating a short might be considered one of the options you can employ there. And just in summary, guys, to conclude, reversal days are an essential tool for identifying potential turning points in market action. Remember, the heavier volume and the wider the range that you're looking at here, the more significant the reversal is likely to be. And don't forget to look for these patterns, not just on the daily charts, but also on the weekly and the monthly for stronger signals. You know what I'm going to say? I hope everybody prints up the storm. Joseph, what do you think?
Sir. All right. Yeah, you know what? Just watching the markets here, man. As I mentioned before, Tesla continuing to move higher, up about 3% on the session. But one thing we didn't really touch on, Sharif, before the lesson was we're kind of sitting the inverse of what we were on Friday. I mean, every sector was essentially green, and that is not the case today. The only sector that is somewhat green on the session is the tech sector, 0.1% on the day. So again, nothing crazy. Everything else is in the red. The consumer consumer discretionary is about 0.2% in the red there. And then the communication service about 0.4 as well too, guys. So again, it's hard to find the longs on this front. But Tesla is absolutely strong. It's one of the stronger tech stocks. There's no doubt about that. And I heard a lot of people talking about Amazon as well too. Let's see what Amazon is up to, folks. Yeah, starting to trade significantly better. So we can't complain on that front. But again, the overall market seems to be a little bit of a weak one, especially with that bank coming in, with that news coming on BAC as well too. So again, financial sector taking a little bit of a hit here. Let's see where we're sitting. Yeah, they're in the middle of the pack. So again, nothing crazy, down about 1.1%. There's no doubt about that. But okay, guys, yeah, just looking at Amazon, looking for some relative strength in the market. The Qs are slowly starting to recover. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But again, we're breaking some key resistance levels here on Amazon, and we're holding them. What was once resistance is now acting as somewhat of a support system. So can we go and break these pre-market highs? Only time will tell on that front. So we'll continue to monitor this and see what's going on with the overall market. Other than that, I was watching NVDA earlier in the morning and decided to take my eyes off of it. I don't want to trade that thing anymore. What's it up to now? It's slowly starting to recover, sure enough. But after it wicked everybody else did liquidity grabs and just chopped around in this kind of range for about a half an hour or so, and then decided that it wanted to break these resistance levels, having the inability to break high of day as well too. But a really nice reversal candle potentially, just as Sharif went over in his lesson. These are the type of signals that you're looking for, and as he mentioned, the higher the time frame, the more substance you can hold to that type of print. Now, guys, continue to let me know what you're looking at in the chat. I'm going to vote for the rundown poll right now. I think I know what I'm going to go on this one. And yeah, not much of a shocker on that front, being Tesla leading the way, up about 44% too, guys. But yeah, continue to let me. Apple is moving now, everybody's saying as well too. So tech's starting to pick up a little bit of steam, which is good for the market. And yeah, we'll take this all day, especially leading into the holidays. So any form of recovery is much warranted. Oh, is this all-time highs? Oh, no, not quite. Yeah, no, it went there earlier in the pre-market. So again, putting in all-time highs on the session here with Apple. So really nice look on that front. Only up about 0.2 on the session. So we'll continue to monitor that, as I tend to say. And yeah, GameStop, let's take a look at GameStop. A big nothing burger on this front for me on GameStop. I don't want to be partaking in this, especially with how all these candles are overlapping. You don't have any orderly price action. If we're going to trend, this is what I want to see in a trend over here, guys. I don't want to see this. I don't want to partake in any of this price action right there. It gets rather frustrating for me, especially when there's no order. Nothing's trading in an orderly fashion. So again, looking for those stocks that are trending, whether it be to the downside or to the top side. I know IBIT is actually getting taking a tough one the past couple of days, and that's fine. We'll continue to hold on to our position. We're not going to worry too much about this. I think we are going to break this key level that I mentioned not too long ago on the daily, and then with that, I think there's going to be some more downside as well too. So we can just look at this as a classic, just kind of a breath here before we head a little bit more south. Are we going to go to these 77 levels? Maybe, but I do think the next stop is the 80s, mid 86s. Totally fine. We'll reload on that. Are we going to come and test the breakout levels? I don't think so. That would be a hefty drawdown on that front. So we'll monitor BTC as well too, and we're going to keep an eye out for any potential reversal signals. If we do hold this low, then eventually we're going to look to add and play the break of this, but only time will tell, and we're going to have to be patient on that one because that is from a daily time frame. So guys, keep that in mind. Can we take a look at OCC? Absolutely. We'll take a look at OCC before we send it off to our guy to the right of me. And yeah, this might be right down his alley. I'm not too familiar with it. Let me pull up what it does here, and let's check out the float on it. OCC, Optical Cable Corp, $32 million market cap. Corporation is a manufacturer of fiber optic and copper data communications. Okay, kind of sounds like Bell Canada, what I used to deal with. Looking good. Yeah, looking good on that front. Oh, wow, look at that volume breakout there. But other than that, I would not be paying any mind to this, being as frank as I possibly can on this ticker. I mean, like, look at this price action. That is, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, to be honest with you, Sharif. Have you seen anything like this? of what I'm displaying on a daily chart, OCC, optic cable. Yeah, I've never seen any type of price action like that. Super algorithmic, but now you're getting that volume to step in, and we are breaking out on that, Sharif. What are you cooking up there?
All right, we're in 3 trades right now.
Ooh.
So we're caught in a down halt right now on DRCT. I'm still whiffling and waffling right now with RUM and RELI. So I'm trying to get RELI off 4. That was the idea. I'm trying to get RUM off VWAP. I've already extracted a little bit there on RELI, waiting for a pop here on Rumble to take out the $0.50. I think I got a print actually on RUM as well. So I just can't see it right now because it's blocked by the dip trade order there. Or sorry, the beak wetter. So we'll see if Rumble wants to hold up at VWAP. I'm not going to give RLI too much room. I need to give it to below 4, but I have my stop out at 404, which is wrong, which is like 1 penny below 405. I saw a big buyer at 405. I tried to base my trade off that. There you go. I got stopped out of that. So that's an L right away here on RELI. So look to do a little bit better. Keeping my eye on Rumble. The only reason I'm in Rumble at this level is for a VWAP hold and pop. If it doesn't come to fruition, we're going to have to get stopped out of that one. DRCT, I like this one. I'm going to add into this one. I added while it was halting to the downside. Now it's open, so I have to watch out for this one. Oh, where's my order? There we go. Let's see what this one does. DRCT, we got 38. It's going to halt to the upside. I knew this exactly was going to happen right here. Well, no, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but I had a feeling. DRCT awfully directional. It's going to halt at 35s. I'm long 38, so no point flattening out here. Let's see if it halts. It is halted to the upside, so now I'm caught in an up halt, which is kind of what I wanted. So let's see exactly what we get, whether this one heads up and continues to go up. We know these triple-digit winners sometimes end up being high triple-digit winners like 3, 4, 5, 600%. And we had one last week go 4-digit winner up into over 1,000%. There we go on RUM. Nicely 20 pennies in the money on RUM right now. Let's see if we can take out more 65s. We're showing 64s right now on the ask. We're long 31s. Zagging, not giving me the print. We're going to have to pack our patience here. The spread opening up to about 3 or 4 pennies. But I do like the hold off the volume weighted average price. And now we're showing 65 and bang. Let's sit now on 75 over here to extract some more. 1274 I'm going to wait at. No, I got short. Crap. I hate it. I took everything out there too quickly. So that was a mistake. I put a bigger order for the out, and that took me out of everything. All right, that's all good. I'm going to get back in on this one. So we're going to look to get back in on this one and add into the volume weighted average price. Man, don't have my sharpest trading tools on right now, but hopefully we'll look to do a little bit better here. It's not been a good start so far here. So DRCT, still caught in an up halt, looking for Rumble to hold up at VWAP, kind of fat-fingered into that one, had to get back in now, obviously out of the money. We'll look to add as it comes back into that $0.25 area at the volume-weighted average price, Joseph.
Yes, sir. Just monitoring Tesla. I think it's a really strong one on the session, and same with Amazon as well, too, folks. Again, just kind of sitting on my hands for the minute now, waiting for that kind of A+ setup to kind of come my way, and then maybe we'll take something from that front. But again, guys, let's see what's going on with the market. Bitcoin slowly starting to recover off the lows, IBIT trading at 53, and then about 225 and change on Amazon. So let's see how much we're actually off the highs here on Amazon, because I think we all are creeping up on excuse me, on those all-time highs, even though we sold after the FOMC. Yeah, thank you. Finally, thanks for cooperating. Excuse me. So yeah, we're only about 3% off those all-time highs. I do think we recover going into the new year. I mean, one thing about this is that we have this large engulfing candle, right? So we engulfed kind of all these sessions here. But one thing to keep on, I'm going to keep an eye on, and as you guys know I always do, is the volume. Is the volume by time profile. So that really isn't standoutish, right? So let's correlate this. Like this wasn't, like from a volume standpoint, was nothing outstanding, right? So this can just indicate to me it was a lot, and I was watching some news about it. So there's a lot of put covering and stuff going on with this session going on here. So again, I'm not too worried about that, especially because we had all those leaps that are expiring soon. Those that were made from the previous years, now they're going to expire come the new year. So a lot of put covering, and with that 25 basis point cut being a little hawkish. So we'll look at that, but the volume isn't anything to be alarmed at. And I do think we can continue this trend that we are the primary trend in the overall market. And I'm going to stick to that thesis until proven otherwise. Until I see a massive volume influx or this overall market decides that it wants to turn completely bearish, I'm going to sit on my hands and I'm going to stay bullish for the foreseeable future and look to buy in some of these dips and then look for that strength to step back in to the market. So we're gonna watch Amazon. I do like it breaking out here. Let's see if this volume can step in on the lower time frame as well too. On the 1 minute, this can indicate, hey, this is going to be a genuine move, and then maybe we can go and test these pre-market highs. All right. So that's something that I'm going to continuing to be monitoring. Let's take a look at Apple, because I know a lot of people are talking about Apple as well too, and see what it's up to. Still hovering around, guys. See how we're just kind of chopping around in this range here. I'm not going to look for it to break out of this range until we get some serious volume influx. And with that, I don't know if we're going to get that leading into the holidays anytime soon. So just be wary, kind of just drop that risk down. And Adam Duluth, thanks for that $2 super chat, brother. Much appreciated. Him and I were talking a little bit on Friday. He shot me a message. So Merry Christmas to you as well, too, my guy. So hope everything is well out there across the pond, my guy. What are you cooking up there, Sharif?
Well, we're doing well, man. I fat-fingered on rum, and we're right back in, Joseph. Nicely 30 pennies, almost 40 pennies in the money here, waiting for that 13 break and take. I've set up a skosh below 13 and a little bit above 13. Multiple out so far, zigging and zagging right now, unable to cross that $13 level. Seller, I perceive to be at 92s, 93s. Here we go, bang. Let's see if we can take out that level above two. Bang, rice. Nice. All right, I'm having a good time. So let's set up 13.10 is where I'm going to sit at next. No, that's not the level I want. The next I'm going to sit at 13.25. Let's see exactly if we can continue to move up into that 13. I'm going to put 24s. We're obviously having trouble with, I believe, 13. We did get the break of 13, but as you can see, we are there. It's not forthcoming, the continuation above that level. So gonna pack my patience with this one. Oh, here we go. We're caught in an up halt again. It looks like bang on DRCT, halted the upside at 51s. So yeah, packing my patience on this one. Now, this is a mistake by me for not putting in a market on open order. That's how you weasel out, or that's how you send an order while the stock is halted. I know different platforms use different methodologies. For example, my brokerage, I can send out orders regularly. In this system on P-Pro 8, you have to send a market on open order in order to get printed. So we're about 15, no, where are we? About, 15 pennies in the money or something like that on DRCT. 2 up halts right now. We were caught in the down halt initially. Let's see what this one does. It behooves me to throw out some orders there. Back to Rumble, as we're still having issues with 13. I've got a few more outs on this one, waiting for that break and take of the $0.25, 13 $0.25. Now, the reason I'm setting up at the $0.25 is because I perceive to be some selling here at the third. Look at this area crest that we got into at around 10:30. We did reject that 13 1/3. We did get up to 40s on a wick basis, but the closing prints all were around 33. I get it. Obviously, we did breach 14, but this is still an important area for me if I'm going to continue to scalp. 13 showing up again here on the ask. 98s right now on the bid. We're going to have to squeeze a little bit over here for me to get filled. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pack my patience with this one. 13 is an elusive level so far, and you can continue to see that because we keep rejecting $13 right now. The spread is opening up a little bit right now on Rumble. 3-4 pennies. At times, it gets a little wide there. So we're going to see if we can get anything above that 13.25. Pack in my patience. Dang that bang. Shout out to you, Vivid Distortions. DRC up halted again, says Aldrin Giller. Don't I know? I'm involved, baby. So I do know that. So keeping my eye on both of these, RUM and DRCT. But I got to tell you, this $13 rejection of Rumble has me feeling like we're going to come back down into that volume weighted average price again at around 12.25. So the question I'm asking myself right now is, with my entry at 67s because of the fat finger, do I want to take out more here and lock in some profits? And there it comes down into the mid 80s. I do have a feeling we are going to reject 13. And here we go. Lots of blue right now on my time and sales, which usually means seller exuberance. So we'll take out one more there as we come down into 74s. Yeah, displeased with the fact that I didn't get everything out there. We're going to flatten out here because now we're about 10 pennies out of the money. And then if it comes back down into the volume weighted average price at the $0.25, I will be a buyer in and around there on Rumble. Otherwise, I'm going to wait for a break and take of that $13 area on a decisive basis and then use it as support. Back to DRCT. Let's see when this one halted. It did halt at 31.13. So right now, on my watch, my atomic clock over here, we got 34.46. So we're still about 20, 25 seconds away, a little bit more from opening, assuming it is, of course, a 5-minute halt. So when we get back from Madeira, hopefully this will have been unhalted.
A lot of today's most exciting trades have really been driven by some of that small cap action here with DRCT, RGTI, and RUM, these smaller cap and heavily shorted names. But we do have to talk about some of these larger movers to the upside and downside in the S&P 500. We're going to talk about some of these sector-wide moves right now. Starting here with AMD, a lot of these semiconductors right now maybe pulling back a bit, but generally stronger on the day. This morning we had news that the Biden administration in the U.S. has initiated a trade probe looking into some of these Chinese legacy chips. The China Ministry of Commerce actually responded to this earlier today, saying that they urge the Biden administration and the U.S. to react based on facts. So interesting look here. Keep an eye on a lot of these chip names. With that in mind, AMD, Broadcom, probably the strongest off the open. We also have here CCL and all of these cruise lines to the downside. Looks like a day two move. CCL was pretty strong in earnings day one. And despite price target increases from Barclays and Stifel today, still down about 5% as it sells off a little bit on earnings day two. And last but not least, we do have this news here from the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau suing Walmart and Branch Messenger, alleging that they forced some Spark drivers into costly deposit accounts without consent, causing drivers to pay over $10 million in fees in order to access earnings. So keep an eye here on WMT with that suit. A little bit of a flat bottom right now, down about 3+%. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and vote in the poll to see what ticker you want to see on the rundown. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. And this is going to down halt again. So we got substantial amount here as it popped up. We're long 29s. Now it's going to halt at 46, but I was able to get a lot out in the mid 60s. And I've got a couple of beak wetters that haven't been removed right now in the high 60s. So DRCT down halted, still well above the 10 exponential moving average, still doing real well on this one. So we'll look to extract some more profitability on this one. The tap was favorable to me. At the it was moving up incrementally as we were halted, so we're going to keep an eye out to see if the buyers still coming in droves here for DRCT. Back to Rumble as it continues to whiffle and waffle below 13, Joseph. I'm waiting for a break and take of this 13 level before really deciding to get back in again. I didn't want to be on the receiving end of kind of like a head and shoulders pattern. This is kind of what I perceive to be possible. Head and shoulders formation. You got the uptrend, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, bottom break through VWAP. So kind of concerned about that. We'll see what we get here with Rumble, Joseph.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a couple people in chat are asking me to take a look at unusual machines here. UMAC trading really nice on the session so far. And this is what I mentioned, guys. Even though we are kind of consolidating in this little range right here, but this is what you want to see from a price action standpoint. I don't want to see those overlapping candles like we were looking at previously before on some other tickers. Again, a nice indecision candle here, and then we can continue to the top side. Let's zoom out a little bit and see what we got from a daily perspective. And sick stuff there. All right, anyways, we'll take a look at something else. Here, we'll pull it up on a different chart, and it froze that one too. All right, cool, good stuff there. I don't know. Anyways, guys, let's take a look at the TQs and see what's going on here with this market. It does look like we can break this range, and it does, especially if we got Apple, Amazon, and Tesla continuing to crawl to the top side. So I think it's only a matter of time until the Qs decide that it wants to follow. Let's take a look at NVDA and see what it's up to as well, too. It did break those levels, and now trading a little bit higher, going to possibly test the high a day. But again, I'm avoiding NVDA for the foreseeable future. There is no doubt about that. But yeah, let's continue to monitor the overall market. And if we catch a bid, then I think we can start trending on the session. We did have this massive liquidity grab, and then we just continued to just kind of break through VWAP, and now potentially going to go and test these highs a day. So that's something that I'm going to keep an eye out on here, because if we break this, then I think we can continue to climb a little bit higher. And as of right now, it seems to be the case. We'll be running show, but we want to see Fabian. Oh yeah, sorry, ADL. Wayner, yeah, Wayner's at home today, man. So you're not going to be able to see Wayner. So yeah, you got to come into the office for that. And who else did you say you wanted to see there? Fabian and yeah, Ramin's at home today too, man. Everybody's enjoying the holidays, I guess.
Unusual for me to be at home.
To be a little bit early on that front, but I mean, hey, holidays, the season, half day tomorrow, everybody's getting a little festive, and maybe the eggnog started to kick in too, so we'll see what's going on with that, folks. But BA, I know a lot of Elon, I know you're talking about BA, it is starting to curl up. We mentioned this from last week, we're above 30% off of these lows here, so this thing is continuing to trade extremely well and starting to recover, so that's good news for BA. Let's see if this technical price action can continue on this front. We are running into some key resistance levels as well too. So I think this is going to be the next target. Even though we are kind of at what was once support running into resistance right now, we did breach it and then now kind of just hovering around those areas. If we can sit within this range, then I think we can go and test that 193 level potentially in the foreseeable future. So guys, continue to let me know what you are looking at today. Someone put in the chat, yeah, HVAC tips. I'm just sitting on my hands right now, brother. So we'll wait. I'm not just gonna hop in something to hop in something. You know what I mean? So PLTR, yeah, let's take a look at PLTR, folks, and see what's going on with that front. And yeah, I mean, this thing is absolutely fantastic, especially with the addition into the NAS. We traded this on Friday, so again, I think that we can continue pushing all-time highs again today, Sharif. So this thing is looking extremely well. A high of 82.30-ish, we'll call it, on PLTR. Are we going to recover and potentially head back there? Let's zoom in a bit onto the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, we did sell off right at the opening jump, so a weak opening drive here with that big wick. Sellers pushing price all the way back down, breaking some key support levels here on this front, and then kind of holding it. You have this engulfing candle at the bottom, and then sure enough, we've recovered nicely. So let's see what's going on here. If we hold VWAP, then I think we can go and test that high of day level. Sharif, what do you got going on, brother?
Yes, sir. So I did get back into rum. We extracted some more profitability off that 13. Then I put my stop way too close. Oh, come on. I got to get into this one there. We're going to flatten out here on DRCT. I feel like I'm not trading as efficiently as I could be today. Just the mind is too foggy with that illness on the weekend. So, all right, guys. So we did weasel out a little bit too close to 13. My stop was far too close, and then it ended up just wicking quickly below 13. So we get stopped out for the remaining amount. It's still going here. It's putting in higher highs and higher lows. I'm talking about RUM. Looking at take that 13.5. So a bit of a mistake on my part right now, but we're positive on rum. We'll look to do a little bit better on this one. Hopefully not as many fat fingers and mistakes on this one. So yeah, that's really frustrating. Here it goes again. I just don't have the compunction to punch back into this one. DRCT, we got flat for like a few penny winner over here as we were caught in a second down halt. I didn't want to be caught in a second down halt in a row. And now the tap showing 207, so that was the right move. As this one looking to retrace a little bit off that 269. HOD, and who's going to complain about that? But I did see GME curling, and I really did want to get into that. It was kind of putting in higher highs and higher lows off that kind of curl off the volume weighted average price. I was trying to get to it, but I had to manage the other positions. This is what I'm seeing, this kind of rounded bottom effect. It's had that a couple of times where it comes into key areas of support and then kind of puts in incrementally higher lows on the wicks, and then you get the big breakout through the top over here at 1350, looking to take out that level. We're still, well below the high of the day at 3107, and this area crest over here at 3075. Still got to get above that area in order to maintain trend. So those are the small cap gappers I'm looking at now. ZDGE looked awfully good in terms of getting something off VWAP, but when I loaded it up, the spread on the $3 name, I believe, was 17 pennies. So I said to me, I said to myself, that's bananas, and stay the hell away from that. So I didn't get anywhere near ZDGE. TRAW breaking down, RGTI breaking down. It's really RUM, GameStop, and DRCT that are in effect right now, that are actually good. OCC, I'm seeing over here. Joseph was talking about that one. I should have actually focused on that, but I was in my trade at the moment. OCC just printed a 650 HOD. It's up 176%. Let's throw in the ticker on that. So this is getting a little extended away from the 10 exponential, which is around 450, and the volume weighted average price, which is at 520 or so. It's unusual for to see the volume weighted average price above the 10 exponential. When usually that's the case, I don't get in until that kind of line invert, those lines invert, excuse me. Usually I like the 10 exponential above the volume weighted average price. In any event, you have a candle of indecision right now, zigging and zagging at $6. High of this candle, 650, the low, 575. I'd rather it settle down, give me a predictable consolidation area. Maybe it whiffles and waffles in between 575 and 650. Okay, it's not going to do that. There it goes. New high a day, 685 right now on OCC. It's up 218%. It's continuing to go. Higher lows on every successive candle. What is the details on that? What are the details? $55 million market cap, 12.5 million shares traded, 5.1 million share float. Let's find out what the short float is, if any. Negligible, 0.18% says trade idea. So we're going to work off a small float here of 5 million and change. That's really what's given this one its parabolic effect. But it's going to have to settle down for me to get in, man. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to the end of the show. This is bad.
Yeah, you want me? Let me take it over here. Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, for now.
That's all right. All right, I got you. I got you, my guy. You need to take a little break. Guys, everybody's not feeling too well right now. Especially a little sickness going around. It is that time of year in Canada, folks, where people do get a little bit sick. So, I mean, the cold weather's coming in. It's usually not as cold as it typically is, right? I guess a colder winter for us, and especially we got some snow on the ground. So it's looking like we're going to have that white Christmas. We're going to get some snow too, but again, it's just that weather, man. It gets everybody. So again, we take public transit, we're around in the office, and people tend to get a little bit sick. So that's okay. We'll deal with it as we go, folks. But yeah, continue to let me know what you guys are looking at. BBAI, yeah, I don't gamble. Yeah, there's been... No, I wouldn't say that, everybody. But yeah, guys, continue to let me know what you are looking at in the chat. I've been slowly starting to recover, slowly curling off those lows, as you can see here, folks. So I don't know if I'm going to look to get involved. I just don't think there's going to be any relative strength on Bitcoin until otherwise. I want to see that from a daily perspective, and then maybe we'll look to participate a little bit more and join in that continuous strength that we've seen for about a month before we kind of got into this little choppy mess with the overall market and that FOMC meeting that kind of just dragged everything down. Thanks, Todd Edwards. Much appreciated on that front, my guy. But yeah, I mean, guys, let me know. You know, we got that poll coming up at noon as well, too. So make sure you get your votes in for the rundown. And then we're going to get that SPY poll up. Let me pull up our typical SPY poll. We took our first stop out. So it's funny. We had a day where we hit our 2-to-1 target, and then the next day we took a loss. So again, it's kind of ironic how those things kind of work. So again, we had that beautiful price target, but we are trending in the right direction, folks. This is something that we want to see. There is no doubt about that. So let's see what today brings. I don't want us to get too extended before we can potentially get into our position, but as of right now, it's looking like that might be the case, especially the way the Qs are moving. So let's take a look at the TQQs here, folks, and see what we're up in the broader market and see what that is up to. Yeah, for sure. Give me a second here. Andre, let's see what we got. So just hold my chart up there. We got to find some trade the pool. All right, let me know when. Are we good to go on that front, or we got a couple seconds until trade the pool? All right, cool. So guys, it's time to pay those bills, all right? So trade the pool. Trade the pool allows stock traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. Trade the Pool had just launched a limited edition program for a one-time fee of just $300. You'll receive $80K in buying power and the chance to become a funded trader. Hit a profit target of 4% and you'll start trading the company's capital. Get funded faster and easier with the new conditions designed for success. And the best, the profit split has been upgraded to a generous 70%, so you keep more of what you earn. Don't wait. Check it out now and see how Trade the Pool can help you trade bigger and most definitely better, folks. So that is Trade the Pool. Yeah, so hey, we got to cover for Sharif a little bit. He's not feeling the hottest right now. He's back now. Yeah, all right. He's all right. He's got his water. But continue to let me know, guys, what you are looking at, just to help the show go a little bit smoother, and everything will be, and look at Dogecoin. All right, let's pull up Dogecoin. Let's see, I gotta pull up my trading view. Dogecoin. Doge. Give me uno momento. Mi amigas. We don't want to see that. Yeah, take a couple seconds. Okay, well, what do you? Okay, who said Doge is going? And like in what aspect? Please let me know in what aspect Doge is going. Or did you mean the Department of Government Efficiency is going? Maybe, I don't know. Because other than that, I have no idea what you're referring to. Because Doge is absolutely doing diddly. So again, let's see. But I do like this print here, folks. So I wonder if we can recover off this and then maybe continue to the top side, have a definitive stop around the 26-cent level, and then we can continue to the northeast maybe on that front. I was hoping that was going to be the case on BTC, but as of today, it's not quite looking like it. We are holding those support levels, which is kind of key and something that I was looking at. So that's really important for me, especially on this type of candle print. Sharif was going over the reversal lessons. So let's see if this level holds. If it does, and then we breach this and hold this 98K level to the top side, I'm going to look to continue in that strength to the northeast there, Sharif. How you holding up there, my
Crisis averted, sir.
Nice, brother.
Yes.
Let's go.
So, yeah, it's kind of a stomach thing going around all the office. Everybody's taking their turn with it. It is mine today. Well, it was mine all weekend, I'll tell you. But here we go. So we're looking at OCC right now, guys. And OCC printed a big boy HOD 685. It's back down to 6. I've put a dip trade to shadow VWAP here, a little bit above VWAP. Hence this dip trade order, looking to take it off there. But it is fighting with 6 right now. It hasn't given it up clearly. It's a little above, a little bit below. 6 is up 178%. Let it zig and zag over here and see exactly where we end up going. I'm very interested in this one because it is a trade de novo. What do I mean by that? That means the volume for OCC started coming in later in the day. The volume candles really started spiking at 20 after 11. Well, that interests me. Why? Because it hasn't had its best trade behind it. Like a lot of these ones, they trade in the pre-market, they trade early on, right after the bell, and then you got to pick them up off, key areas of support in order to really, really do well with this one. So this one's giving you an opportunity for kind of like a new trade. And here we go. It's breaking out, so it doesn't come into my area. Now I've put in a dip at 6. It's not going to give me 6. There it goes again, 6.5. The strength on this one is palpable, baby, as it's going to take out the high of the day. 685 HOD, whiffling and waffling right now. Mid-30s, was popping up into the mid-40s, tried to break through 50. Yeah, I don't want to chase this too much, so I'd rather get something in on of a dip. I've left here an order at 610, 615 or so, but it doesn't look like it's going to come back into that, at least not yet. Good strength right now on OCC. Smaller float, but not that big of a short float. Here comes closer to my entry. Let's see if it wants to hold on 6. Let's see if we get filled first and foremost. And if we do, does it hold 6? I'm still going to leave my dip trade to shadow the volume weighted average price at around 5.5. Yeah, but this one, there we go. Okay. I thought it was going to come in there. The spread opened up a little bit on that one. Thought it was going to get filled. Here we go, coming back closer to my entry. Let's pack our patience with this one and see if we do get filled. By the way, DRCT halted to the downside again, this time at $2. We're going to have to wait to see if we hold up to. All right, now we got filled here on OCC. We're long at 11s. Let's throw some profit takers to account for the volatility on this one. All right, taking some out there. Let's put some at the third of $1 as well to account for some volatility and just de-risk a little bit. I'm still going to leave my order at 5.5. I do like the dip into VWAP here. I think I like that better. That's the larger position. This is a starter position right now on OCC. There we go. Now we took out all my levels. There we go. So now let's set up north of 50 up here to account for a bigger move to the high side. Not too many outs with this one because it's a starter position, but I'm going to leave again. I'm going to keep saying this again. I'm going to leave my order at 550. In fact, I might move it up a skosh because volume weighted average price is dynamic. It's constantly moving. So if you're going to shadow VWAP, you got to move your orders with it, or you got to have some sort of automatic adjustment. So it looks like there's selling here at around the $0.50 back into 6 week go. Let's see how this one ends up resolving, Joseph.
Yes, sir. All right, my guy. Let's see what PLTR is. I mean, we like this with the addition to the NAS on Friday. This thing traded absolutely beautiful, especially going into the close, guys. We like this look here. Really strong candles going into those prints with the addition into the NASDAQ. So I like PLTR, and I like it for the foreseeable future. I thought that we were going to get a little bit deeper of a pullback.
Okay.
I'm not going to rule it out as of right now, but Sharif, it's not looking like the case because we had this massive engulfing candle when the whole market was trending on Friday. It just put in this crazy range of a day and continuing kind of, and I wouldn't say it's continuing in that strength, but it's holding that strength very well. So I like that on that front. I'm not going to get involved into this thing here. I would like to see maybe a little a breach of 70s maybe for me in order for me to get involved in this stock. But I don't think that's coming anytime soon, especially on this path that it's headed. So if I feel like that ship has sailed on your boy here, unfortunately. But again, there will always be another opportunity. Something will come along in order and send this thing south and the overall market as well, too, as we do know that we had that 25 basis point cut. And it just, the market just completely dumped. So again, let's take a look at the small caps because I mentioned this time and time again that they're usually the most affected by interest rate decisions. And we are slowly recovering off those lows. Didn't have quite the recovery like the overall market, but that's totally fine. Kind of expect that in the small caps here. So IWM, the Russ 2000, holding on to these key support levels. Let's see if we can continue hold on to these levels and maybe continue to the top side because market breadth is weak. Like, I mean, we have what, Amazon, Apple, AMZN, yeah, Amazon trading half decently, Apple trading half decently as well too. And same with Tesla, kind of just dragging the market up with them, where breadth is a little bit weaker. As we went over those sectors earlier in the session, we don't have very much red. And let's see if that narrative has changed this far. And as of right now, it doesn't seem to be the case. Oh, okay, so yeah, we're up quite a bit more on the tech sector, up about 4/10. And then the comm sector slightly went green here, but we're not even up 0.1% there. But the rest of the sectors are red, guys. So keep that in mind. Looking for relative strength may be a little bit more difficult than usual, brother. What do you got going on?
Did quite well here on OCC. Joseph took out some at 69s. It did move up to 70, but we didn't take anything out there. So I've only got one more exit. I'd rather just let this go and then fill me at my next dip trade over here at 555, but it's not giving me a move down into VWAP, nor do I want to add at this 6 area because it's breaching it. It's putting in lower highs and kind of a flat bottom. Well, actually, that's not accurate. It's putting in actually higher highs if you judge the wick basis. So maybe I should be adding at 6 over here. I'm going to leave my dip trade at VWAP right now. We're long 611s. Best out I had was 69s. We could have flattened out at 7. Didn't want to. Wanted that break of 7 to fill at 711 so we could hit the dollar club. But, you know, we're only holding a small piece here. Now, if it ends up holding 6, I'm going to look to add to this position again. But I'm going to leave my order right now, which is no longer valid, at 55s. Because VWAP, as I mentioned, dynamic, so now it's at almost a 2/3 of a dollar. So let's set up over here at 669 for a buy. For a buy, did I just? Oh, I got in right. Oh my goodness, bro! I'm making so many mistakes today. I added at 669 instead of 559, and now I'm out of the money. Yeah, it's just my mind isn't there, so it's okay. I'm gonna have to flatten out here as I make another mistake, guys. But we'll look to do a little bit better. Joseph, let me send it to you for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg, I know you're listening. I sent you a message there. I know you're saying the semis are moving, so check your DMs there, my guy. I sent you a quick message. But yeah, let's see what this market is doing. These semis are moving. AMD up a whopping 5%. I do think that this thing is going to start to recover. I'm going to pull up AMD, and we're just going to take a look at some of its ratios here, its PE ratios, and I'm pretty sure that they've come down drastically. So I want to take a look at this and see what the forward is. Yeah, so the trailing is still pretty high, sitting around 105 trailing, and then the forward PE is about 23 times forward earnings, 24 times. So that has come down drastically to earlier in the year when it was around 200 times, which is extremely expensive for the street. I mentioned this time and time again on AMD, is like, okay, where is max pain on this thing? At what point is this stock going to stop selling? And I don't know if we've reached that level, but I think we're getting close to it. Like, I mean, like I mentioned this before, we're still down about 40-50% off of that all-time highs, and is down year to date. So this thing is not looking good whatsoever. But again, if you can somehow catch the bottom and see where this stock is going to turn around, then you can probably look like a genius, especially if AMD decides it wants to get its things together. All right, so I'm going to keep my eye on AMD, but perfect. But guys, we're going to send it off to Adara right now, and then after that, it's Neil's lesson of the day.
What an exciting day it's been. It is a holiday shortened week, but that does not mean there has to be a shortage of excitement in this market. That is for sure. Get a little bit of economic data this morning, most notably a lower than expected CB consumer confidence print. And you should stay tuned at 1 p.m. for the 2-year note auction. But other than that, pretty light day when it comes to data. We did have some smaller auctions earlier today. The S&P 500 with this nice bottom here, basically right at 1030, up about 0.25% right now. The NASDAQ, meanwhile, up about 0.5% right now, trying to take out previous resistance here around that 520 halves level. So great look here for the Qs and the SPY. The market's trying to bounce. A lot of these Mag 7 names having a pretty good day as well. NVIDIA with the chips pushing higher. Meta near that 600 level again. And Tesla back above both 430 and VWAP. So lots of things to keep an eye on. There's also one midday catalyst to watch out for, and that is going to be Bank of America, the OCC, not this small cap OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, issuing a cease and desist order against Bank of America, saying that it is apparently violated or has some deficiencies when it comes to the Bank Secrecies of America Act, or Bank Secrecy Act. So keep an eye here on BAC when it comes to the BSA. Then we have GME here, GameStop, one of many retail names on watch. Michael Noss this morning telling us how a lot of retail names are going to be in focus today, and that is definitely true. Rumble really strong, as is GameStop, and a lot of these small caps. Again, OCC, DRCT. So keep an eye on these smaller and heavily shorted names. But we'll have even more to keep an eye on as Neil gives us his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. That's hilarious that, like, I've never even heard of this government. The OCC, I've never even heard of. I've been trading for a very long time, and usually you pick things up in finance. I've never heard of that. And then, of course, there's a stock OCC as well to make things even more compounding. But I kind of gave away when we were looking at Tesla at 420 what I was going to discuss for the lesson of the day. And that would be, it's a lot easier to buy the dip when you have a nice controlled move into your level and it just sort of gently glides in there and gives a nice consolidation. There's really nothing all that crazy about it. But it's very different when a stock is insanely bearish going into it. Like, it's cratering, it's tanking, it's flushing. It's like the best short in the morning going into the level that you want to be buying at. And the thing about it is, you can like a price level all you want, and you can say, I think the stock is along from here. It's only part of the story. You have to have an execution strategy. We'll get to Tesla in a second. I'll use Palantir as an example, the first example. And the reason, it's an incredibly bearish open for a lot of reasons on Palantir. Maybe I should start with a 15-minute there. Like, Palantir trying to break into an all-time high this morning. It's its first day in the NASDAQ 100. And so you're getting this attempt at the break. You're seeing it consolidate. It makes another run at the open, fails the break of the high, and then trends back down. Well, it's all well and good to look back in the afternoon support level, which on my note, I actually wrote down 77.5 to 78. Now I shorted into it, but that doesn't matter. Like, this is your support level. Getting into the long, if you just start trying to get long around 78, Okay, well, that's a pretty big hammer down. Are you just trying to catch that falling knife? Or sometimes we're like, oh, if we don't get that snapback, there's your bottoming tail candle. We don't get that snap. I'm going to ignore it. I missed the trade because it closes up here at 78 and a half. So you're like, that's done. Well, you know what? Look what happens after this. Right after that initial bounce and reversal candle, all of a sudden, it just holds on to a higher low. Holds onto the higher low and then breaks out this top. Now, what's wrong with that trade? You know, ultimately, you might not be long at the bottom, but you've got it holding on to afternoon support on Friday. You have it breaking the downward trend at the open. You have it confirming some strength with a consolidation off of that trend and off of the 78 level. And then you have it breaking out this top. And I'll give a shout out to Obi, because the reason I'm opening with Palantir, even though the idea was to talk about Tesla for this, is he's like, yeah, well, you know, when you don't get that long, you can just have this one. It's 78 and a half into 70, into 78. That's a 50-cent worth risk. VWAP stands $1 away, so that's 2 to 1. And then you've got continuation, I'd say at least up until right in here, which is the flat bottom that broke. And oddly enough, as I say this live, well, why not be looking at this, Neil? If Palantir breaks this trend line, I'd probably look to go short. But it's a trend since the bottom. That seems almost like a low-hanging fruit. This could happen any second now, but it needs to close underneath that trend. And so you don't need to have the absolute bottom on the way in. You can get that higher low trade because it's a better and more distinct setup. It gives you solid risk to reward. It gives you some solid entry rules. It allows you to join a move instead of just make a move. And I would say a similar thing about Tesla, only you don't get the same clean trade. On Tesla, it doesn't give you that obvious consolidation higher low. But what you can observe with the 420 in Tesla, and then the reason why this was less than the day is because of the miss at 420, is observing what happens at that price. On Friday, is ultimately held 420 with a low of 417.5 and then got to 444. So it's worth it because there's huge upside off that level. You know it. It's done it before. It's not even the first time. Friday's just the most recent example of it. Then at the end of the day, it broke 420 and then held above. So I even said this when it was starting to come down, this should be a failed breakdown trade. Instead, I went long in front of it and then it broke down. The failed breakdown trade was almost perfect. You'll see it closed underneath 420, closing bar just underneath 419. It then opened the next 3-minute bar at the same price and then retook 420. So once it does one close under, holds the low, long back through, the same long that you're taking on the way back in with a tight stop because you're catching a falling knife. Well, if you take it here, it's a clean breakout with a bit of a wider stop, but more confirmation. And it just comes down to patience. Now, ultimately, the other way you can play this, you can be long, all that stuff and just sort of hold it. But why even put yourself through all of that? You've got to, I always say this, you've got to be willing to miss the trade to make the trade. But the other thing you have to do is you got to be able to put on a trade that you can have a set of execution rules that will gain if it wins, not rinse you if it loses, and that you'll be able to hold relative to your risk to reward and relative to your risk tolerance. If you can't factor those things in, then forget about it. Like if you're catching the falling knife, there's always a point at which you'll stop out. There's always a point at which you'll stop averaging if you're averaging in. But if you can find your way into these trades where your execution strategy involves in finding the right time to get in, simply taking the trade, putting the stop, and then holding for the trend. That's what you're ultimately looking for. And that trade almost always requires you to wait it out as it's at the key level, not to just jump right in and take the trade immediately. And as it was, before we end this here, Palantir has done this. It's now sort of closing underneath. So this trade is actually setting up to revert back in on Palantir. I'm going to take a shot at it. This kind of happened live, but I'd be remiss if I didn't take a shot at this one breaking the trend line. But you don't have to jump in. A key level and a big level doesn't mean that you have to rush into a trade. Allow it to set up at that price level. It might involve allowing it to run the price underneath, put in a higher low with the hold, like this on Palantir, you then join the trend on a breakout, or you could have something like Tesla, where it just closes underneath your support level, immediately holds the same level or just slightly above it, and then you get the retrace back through after it's put in that retest. Right, like this bar closes down at 419, it opens right back up at the same level, your long is back through. Allow it to shake out and then take the trade. That's your lesson of the day, requiring patience, because that's what all traders should have.
Thank you very much, Neil. Informative, eloquent, and awesome as always. Neil Roberts, lesson of the day. Thank you very much. Yes. So I had a little bit of a dalliance here with OCC. We could have flattened out break even, but I was kind of insisting that we reclaim that $6 area. So now I'm stopped out of OCC, so we give back everything literally that we made on that. It's going to have to get above $6 for me to trade it again. We're going to have to slow down today in our trading because the mental, well, it's not all there, coming off a little bit of an ailment. So we're going to keep an eye out on the small cap gappers, of which we've got a few going here. So as I mentioned, OCC, get back in this one above 6. DRCT halted to the upside again, so it ends up holding the volume weighted average price. Doesn't quite make it down into that 1 2/3 area. Looked like we dipped awfully close to that $1.75, and now we're halted to the upside at 2 1/4. RUM continuing to trade, near the high end of the range, above the volume weighted average price at 12 1/3. Right now it's trying to hold $13, but still putting in lower highs and lower lows, looking like it might set up for a bit of a breakdown or at least a move back down into VWAP. We'll keep tabs on that, as well as GameStop. I'm still interested in something on GameStop. Ideally, we could get something directional here rather than trying to get it on the dips. It looks like the best entries on GameStop have been, the money fills have been a little bit lower than VWAP. So if you set up south of VWAP by, 5 or 10 pennies, it looks like you had some money fills, whether around over here or over here right at the 1205 candle on GME. So those are the ones that I'm looking at right now. Let's have a look at what the MAG are doing. So let's see which ones are strong and which ones needn't concern us on the day. Meta looks awfully strong as it works its way back into that $600 area, 599.25 HOD, currently putting in higher highs and higher lows, trying to hold the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Amazon, I mentioned Obi during the morning show, was trying to put in a V-shaped retracement. It did do well, still holding the 10 exponential as well here, AMZN, but still, not really above those pre-market highs by all that much. 226.5 looks to be like that pre-market high. In fact, we did breach it, 226.88 HOD, but have a look how quickly we retraced below that $226.50 on Amazon. Apple kind of in break-even land over here, right below that 255. Apple was printing all-time highs on Friday. I was watching this one overnight on Blue Ocean. It was, in fact, trading in 256 and change last night on Blue Ocean, but that is obviously an unofficial print. Still technically, the 255s, I think, is still all-time highs. Softy trying to curl back into the volume-weighted average price has been lower lows and lower highs for the majority of the morning here for MSFT. Looks like we kind of changed that tune with this 11:45-minute candle decidedly making a higher high, and then the subsequent candles now making higher lows as we work back into that $435 area where the volume-weighted average price is hanging out on Microsoft. Goggles is awfully directional, though, so you got to give the nod here to Meta, Google, and NVIDIA to say they're the strongest of the bunch. Up a 1 1/3 is GOGL. Yeah, you okay too, bro?
Yeah, I was just yawning there, legit.
Okay.
No, I wasn't like trying to hold it. No, I would have been long gone. Yeah, I would have been long gone. Yeah.
194.25, Joseph. We're looking to work through that 194 area on Google. A nice V-shaped retracement. Looks like we closed out 191.40 on Friday, but the biggest, I believe, percentage winner for the Mag 7 today. It's a duel between Meta and NVIDIA. Right now, NVIDIA winning out about 2.5% in Greensville, trying to break through that 138.5. We're trying to hold the 10 exponential here on the 5 on NVIDIA, still putting in a 3-candle retracement still, though, above that 137.80. Yeah, let's say 84 to 75, kind of that implied balance high that we printed at 935. Let's see if NVIDIA wants to hold up at these levels. There's some direction on the MAG. I mean, you're going to have to pick and choose which ones you trade. Looks to me, Google, Meta, NVIDIA, the strongest of the bunch. Everything else, you know, kind of whiffling and waffling right now. Tesla coming back down into view up, even though it's up 1 3/4, Joseph.
Yes, sir. Good luck there, guys. I just want to point this out. I understand that we like going long SPY. All right, but we kind of got
short today, by the way.
So did I. I did too. I hit short today too. So that's why, you know, I love you all. But we got a bone to pick now. Because look where we are, and the votes are landslide to the long side. I'm only playing with you guys. But I mean, look, we have this print. Sharif just had a lesson on this print here. We do VPA lessons on this print here. Let's see. I'm not saying that it's 100% going to work, but this is a pretty good topping signal. All right, folks. This indecision candle, that gravestone doji, that shooting star doji, whatever you would like to call it, at the top of a trend after we moved higher with the Mag 7 pulling back in, it looks like we are going to head a little bit to the south side. Now, I like this trade potentially for a short because this gives us a definitive risk, right? So if we break 593.11s, then the thesis is invalid. That's totally fine. But when I see this type of signal, this says, hey, this is a short. Short me, even though it may be a short-term short, you might not get that extended move into the volume weighted average price. But to me, if we don't do a 3-bar play on this type of setup, we're not going to break that high immediately, okay? It may take a little while, it may pull back and then go for the break, but as of from this signal, I'm slightly bearish on the SPY. Now, why would we be bullish on this? I like this print, okay? So we have these big engulfing patterns here with this opening drive just kind of chopping within this area, in this range, totally fine. But then we have this big engulfing print, but then we have that indecision candle right down here. Now, I get it, the volume signature isn't isolated, nor is it an isolated pivot, but the fact that sellers push price all the way down and then and buyers push it all the way up to this price to where this candle closed, right, where this prior bar closed, this can possibly signal, hey, we're looking for somewhat of a turnaround, and I get it. Hey, that's hindsight, Joseph. I get that. But guys, we point out these signals, and sure enough, as I'm talking about it, this short signal on SPY is heading to the south side. So just keep that in mind, all right? So I don't know how deep this pullback can potentially be, but this does signal a potential turnaround. John Von Soyers, Ramin is not in today, my guy.
Oh, he probably just, shout out to John. John's always so kind.
He's the nicest person in the chat.
Easily.
There's a lot of nice people, but John always says the nicest words for sure. And I thought you were going out to lunch, John. I thought you said you were going to take a break and go out to lunch. But yeah, guys, I like this look on SPY. I voted short. Let's see what the poll is looking like now. Still 73% to the long side. Totally justifiable because we aren't going to put that in until 1 o'clock. Don't forget that. So we do have about 45 minutes until for that to potentially turn around. But as of right now, I think I'm going to be short, especially going into the next couple of days in this overall market, just because of the momentum on the FOMC. And I know I talk about that a lot, but again, it just totally turned the sentiment around in the overall market. All right. So sell it, Ron Dunn. I don't know if I'm going to sell it, but I would like to. But as of our poll, I can't go against the poll there. So yeah, the poll always wins. The numbers don't lie, folks. But let's see what happens on AMD as well here too. I mean, it looks like we're putting in that possible head and shoulders pattern here, Sharif. With that shoulder here, shoulder 1, head, shoulder 2. Now, if we break these support levels and the volume weighted average price, can we go into this opening range, this 5-minute opening range? I would assume so, and I would I wouldn't assume, but I would think that would be the next potential target because this was a really, really strong opening range. So if the market can hold this, then that would be fantastic for AMD. But as of right now, kind of like the overall market and some of the tech stocks, we are looking a little bearish, folks, okay? So that's it. That's it. What do you got going on there? Oh, you got a lot
Trying to
going
work
on
back
there,
into
on there.
Rumble,
Yeah.
Joseph. It had a positive green candle holding at 13. It does seem to be a buyer of note holding Rumble above 13. You see sometimes it wicks below 13, but it's quickly bought up. And I'll submit to you, the majority of the closing prints are closing above that $13 area. So we're going to work our way over here. This is also the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. And how many candles over here since this candle at 11:45? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles. There we go. We're taking out some levels. Let's see if we can continue to move up on RUM. It's been big already on the day, 85%. We're well off the highs though. 14, 17 HOD. I've still got a dip trade on this one because I don't have a bigger position. I'm not going to be trading with any substantial size the rest of the day. I'm super foggy. And I see you guys in the chat like, why are you trading? Why are you trading? Because I have a job, okay? I have to trade. I can't just sit on the desk and wax poetic for 3 hours. I'm going to have to trade. Yeah, it's not like I'm sitting at home and I'm forcing trades. No, this is my job to sit here and to take trades the best I can. Now, what I'm going to do to mitigate risk is to drop the size a little bit. So we're waiting here at 45s to see if we can get printed on RUM. Looks like there's a seller of note at around 40. There we go. We took them out. Now we're showing 43s. Let's see 44s. 44s now on the ask. Look, can we ascend a little bit more over here? I'm going to front run the size, take it out there. Now we're going to move up our order to the north side of 50. We're going to sit at 54s, see if we can get something above this area crest. Now, keep in mind, we did reject 1350 last time we made it up here. So there was a seller of note at around 1350 on RUM that could prevent us from ascending above that level, at least initially. We're going to whiffle and waffle likely before we end up taking out that level. Who knows? RUM does have a bit of a bigger short float than most others. Let's double check what it is. I know Obi was looking at it this morning. I'm seeing on Trade Ideas 21.42% or thereabouts. Sometimes that data is a little old. It can be up to 2 weeks old or even sometimes a little bit longer if it's not updated. So we, I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, but it gives us a direction to kind of give us an idea of what we're working with here in terms of a short float. So good look right now on RUM, about 50 pennies in the money, 25 pennies in the money, excuse me. See, this is kind of how slow I am today. We'll look to take out that 50 penny level, packing my patience. Doesn't look like that's going to be forthcoming, but I kind of had that suspicion since we had rejected that level last time around. So RUM, we'll keep an eye out. Now, I'm also keeping my eye out here on OCC because it put a candle of indecision. It's at around $5. It does look like there is buying coming here on OCC at around 5. Now, this is the first 5-minute candle right now on OCC to make a higher low. And it hasn't closed, obviously. We've got 4 more minutes on this current 5-minute candle. But what I'm looking for on OCC is that rounded bottom effect. Now, I've got a rule. That rule is don't take these small cap gappers long south of VWAP. VWAP on my chart for OCC is 555. Something like that, 5 high 50s. So it's going to have rounded bottom or not. It's going to have to take VWAP on a closing basis for me to get interested on this one. Back to RUM as it does reject that $half area. Unsurprised by that, quite frankly, as we mentioned that there was a seller of note at 55. So now what I'm going to do is set up for another dip trade here at 13 or to front run $13, that is. So we're going to set up a buy order in front of $13 to try to get some more if this one wants to come back in and test it. Back now again to OCC as this one did wick VWAP at around 5, looks like 5 low 60s here on OCC. It did reject and it's right back down into the 30s. So packing my patience here on OCC. Definitely want to get back involved with this one. But look at that ugly rejection. It takes VWAP. Now it's a topping tail candle into VWAP and below 5 we go. Oh baby. The volatility on OCC is fast and dang furious. But look at this. This is what I'm seeing here on my 5-minute chart, where it kind of puts in a higher low, tests VWAP, rejects, but most notably Still, this current 5-minute candle at 1220 still hasn't made a lower low below that 1489. So technically still a higher low, despite the fact that it's really ugly and it probably bamboozled a whole bunch of people trying to take out that volume weighted average price. So we'll pack our patience with this one. It's got to set up my way. Otherwise, I'm not going to trade it again. Got to be north of VWAP. Back to RUM. So here we go. Now we're about 2 pennies or so out of the money, but that's fine. I'm looking for that dip trade at 1310, showing 11s right now. Anything below 1288, I'm Gonzino. We've held up before on the dips below 13 at 1290. So first we got to get filled here at 10s or 11s, and then if we do anything below that 90 print, Joseph, we're going to cancel it. It's going to have to hold up, putting in higher lows for me to stay interested with that one.
Yeah, Fugazi Berry, that's a funny. If I want to short the SPY, you should check in with Kyle to see if he will allow me to come to the party. There's no doubt about that. He already sent me the invite, so that's why I decided to go short on SPY. So I'm 2 steps ahead of you there, Fugazi Bear. He said, Joe, anytime you want to come over and party, we can do that. So that's why we decided that we were going to go short the SPY today. And now I'm short the TQs, all right? So let's see if we can continue. Let's see if this doji comes into a little bit more play. I do have a little bit of concern about this 5-minute print, but that's totally fine. I have definitive risk on this. All right, so it's about 70 cents risk, a little wider than usual. But as soon as we break that high of day, then the thesis is invalid, and that's fine. We're on to the next trade. What is the next setup is what I am thinking about on that front. All right, folks. So, steaming SPY, yeah, exactly. I don't know. I guess he's busy today in the shop because we haven't heard anything from him, but that's okay. I'm sure he'll chime in eventually at some point. But yeah, guys, continuing to hold on to this TQQ trade. We just got in a couple of minutes ago. I really want to see what's going to happen in the next couple of minutes. I think it's going to be a nice determining point. We do kind of got that head and shoulders pattern going in on the 1-minute chart. We did breach it and have now slowly started to pull back a little bit, which is totally fine. I want to see if we can come and test these, what was once resistance becomes support. We'll take an eye on, we'll take a look and for a potential price target on that. But again, I'm only out of this trade once we break that high of day. Do we use cumulative volume data indicator? No.
I saw that. I never used it.
No, I've never used it either. No, Julie, no.
It's interesting.
No, yeah. Was it just everything all together in the session, I guess? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you could just look at another chart, the top here. There's cumulative volume right there. So 16.4 million shares traded on the TQQs. And if we want to pull up NVDA, we'll find out that as well too. Because I'm over here looking at some of the top volume, and sure enough, NVDA is at the top of its class as usual. Okay, so again, putting in the another day, NVDA putting in the most volume after the split. So sure enough, that is the case. PLTR sitting in second place, and then SoundHound. Let's talk a little bit about SoundHound here, folks, because we mentioned about how this thing has been on such a stellar run the past little month. It is now starting to cool off a little bit, and reasonably so, okay? You can't just go parabolic all the time. I mentioned this time after time. The market just happens to have great timing and when things need to sell off. So again, look at this monster run we went on with SoundHound, over 100% in a short period of time, now pulling back, kind of chopping around in this range. Totally fine, totally justifiable. You can't just go parabolic all the time. Nice, healthy volume stepping in on the breakout. Lower volume on the pullback, and then the volume steps in. This is picture perfect, actually. I really want you guys to take a look at this. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Okay, so yeah, guys, I want you to take a look at this. So as we break out, as you see price start to expand, that volume starts to kick in. So the volatility is starting to kick in, all right? So we have that volume confirming that breakout. Then when we see on this pullback is that volume just drop off a cliff. Keep that in mind. This is really positive for a continuation within that trend, all right? And then sure enough, as price turns back around again, that volume steps in once again, confirming another leg higher, forming that ABCD pattern on the daily, and then making that second leg higher. So that is really good. That is something that I'm always keeping an eye on as well too. So that's almost picture perfect. Strong volume on the breakout, lower volume on the pullback, and then stronger volume on that second leg higher. So good look there on SoundHound. It is starting to chop around a little bit. Totally fine. Very light volume on SPY today. I'm losing. I used to sleep on earlier SPY put. So yeah, very leery. Yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest session. Electric passions. Like, again, leading into the holidays, I don't expect too much of volume, even though we're having a decent day so far. I don't expect price action to be as orderly as it kind of has been, but just, again, coming around that 2 o'clock hour, expect things to chop around a little bit because people are going, Wall Street's leaving early, people are going to do their last minute Christmas shopping, and et cetera, right? So don't expect for that crazy continuation, even though it's kind of been the opposite on that front. Let's take a look at SoFi before we send it off to Sharif real quick. Yeah, SoFi putting in a real good session as well too. Beautiful breakout on the daily. This thing's been trading really well for the past couple months. So good luck to anybody who has SoFi in the long term. Let's zoom in a little bit on the 5-minute. Yeah, and it's breaking high a day. Gonna go and test this pre-market high, I think, shortly. And once it breaks that pre-market high, I think 16 is in the works on SoFi there. Sharif, what do you got?
Sounds good. We got Adair.
Yeah, send it to Adair.
Small caps, as we always do, around 12:30 p.m. Shout out to Sharif, who's trading a lot of these. But this is going to be actually a special small cap time dedicated to a lot of these meme runners, just giving you guys some background on some of these catalysts and what's moving these names. We're going to start here, though, with IWM, which is actually recovering nicely. We were down about 1%, I believe, near low of days here. Now down only 1/3% and holding on to 221s. Again, earlier today, we were below 220, so nice bounce here off that 219 halves for the Russell. Let's see if we can continue to push above that 221 and get above this, I guess, high here as of the open. That was going to be 222.30. So we're about a point away from getting above that area. Lots of these small caps to discuss. First, though, I want to talk about FTEL. This one is up 71%. It does have a market cap here of $200 million. So not a super small market cap. Float of 2.59 million shares. This is first Fitel Corporation. I could not find a catalyst on Fitel Corporation, but it's worth noting here there's not a lot of volume actually on this push. We've only traded under 500,000 shares today, and this highest volume candle was just over 100,000 shares. So be very careful with FTEL. There's also DRCT, which Sharif was involved in earlier. This one making new day's highs. It's pretty volatile. It's been halting a lot, up 400% with a float of 3.17 million shares and a market cap of $11.8 million. There's also, to go back to some of these earlier runners, Rigetti here announcing a new qubit system called Anka. This one still up about 15.79%, though definitely removed from its high of day with a short float of just over 17%. Another one that I want to remind us of here is Rumble, which is actually holding really interestingly, holding previous support here and I guess also previous resistance around that 1280 area, though with lower highs, still up about 80% here with a 21.4% short float. Tether here actually announced they're going to be doing a $775 million strategic investment into RUM. So keep an eye on those two. Rumble now with an indirect crypto connection. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and make sure to vote in the poll whether you think the SPY should be long or short in our Playmaker group trade. Back to the Bash Brothers. Take it away.
I was learning a little bit about stable coins over the weekend.
Stablecoin, yeah.
Yeah, it's because you always hear them. Excuse me. That, but I didn't actually know how they mechanically work. So I guess there's two main ones, right? There's Tether and
Tether.
USDC,
Yep,
right?
yep, Tether,
so
yep.
one's apparently in the Bahamas or somewhere offshore in the Caribbean, which is Tether. I'm not making a statement, but the statement, the article that I read said that they had a bit of a checkered past. USDC is actually local. It's actually in the United States. And they actually buy dollar for dollar. So say you deposit $100, they'll buy $100 worth of U.S. Treasury, something that's easily, you can liquidate in short order in case there was a run on the bank, so to speak, right? Which I find to be quite interesting. So is that gonna kind of be the case going forward? Like if we were to say, for example, adopt some sort of cryptocurrency, like a national cryptocurrency. Forget about the States for a second. Like say Canada does that. Do we go back to something where you have to make sure that there's a counterweight to the actual crypto coin that you're like the U.S. dollar before the 70s, before they the delinking with the gold? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so like a one-to-one reserve is kind of what. Yeah. I was
like,
funny
what's the next move?
Because I was reading a book on stable. Well, my book, and it was actually just touching on stable coins this week. Yeah, this weekend when I was laying in bed. And yeah, to that I can't give you a straight out answer, but one thing that I found that when I was reading was really cool. So you know how it just tracks the USD essentially, right? So at one point in USDT, there was a skew in it. So USDT was worth slightly more than the dollar, and you seen the spike, and people were trading it, but then sure enough, exactly. It was really cool. Yeah, so it went up to like $1, like 15 or something like that. So it was skewed. So people were trading USDT, making money off that pairing. Yeah. But then sure enough, it just went back.
It went back.
But there's some. Fact check me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's like 48 billion USDT or something.
Like
48 billion. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's funny. I was reading on that as well too. But I mean, eventually, I think you have to. You do have to have that one-to-one reserve, though. I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Right?
I think that's why Binance got in a lot of trouble as well too, because they didn't have enough Bitcoin in the reserve on the exchange, and they were selling Bitcoin, but not having that one-to-one reserve at some point.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to know more about this. Obviously, now that I'm going to be involved in crypto, you got to understand all facets of crypto. So shout out to you guys in the chat there. If you guys have anything to explain to us as well about this, obviously it's a little. This is beyond my area of expertise, and I'd love to hear from some people who have more knowledge about this kind of stuff. And if you can give me any more nuance aside from what I just got from that very basic article, I'd love to hear it as well. So shout out to you guys. I do appreciate it. All right, I'm keeping my eye out on, as Adair said, DRCT all halted to the upside. Yet again, this one's been very volatile and has been, having a hard time staying open, but it is right at that high of the day, 278 right now. That it's closed at the high. It seems to hold here. That 20 exponential moving average on the 5, it did dip very briefly below $2, all the way down to 181, but never got to the volume weighted average price. So yeah, if you were looking for a VWAP dip trade, you didn't get it. I personally wasn't, but I was keeping an eye for VWAP hold, and we could make an educated entry after that. I'm also keeping my eye on OCC. Does seem to be fighting with $5. I'm not going to take it long anywhere around here. That is until it gets above and holds above VWAP. But I saw yet another volume spike and a price spike, I should say, on GameStop, this time taking us above 371. It looks like we wicked into that 380 area, trading 368 right now. It's been kind of doing these peaks and troughs. It spends very little time at the peaks and more time at the troughs, from my observation. Here's what I mean. So look at this holding here below VWAP on a 5, almost 6 candle basis, and then we get to the peak, we hold up there 2 candles. Same thing over here. We hold VWAP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles at VWAP, and then we shoot up to 380, and now we're coming right back down below that 70 penny level. We're giving up 60 pennies over here. So if you're going to scalp GameStop, make sure you're putting some resting orders in and around the area where you think it's going to spike up to. I personally be wetting my beak in mid 60s, low 70s, because it's not hanging out there all that much. That's 3 spikes now where GameStop has shot up and then come right back down. Let's see if it holds VWAP. If it does, maybe I'll get in this time at around 350, 3 mid-40s. GME, not doing the exact, a lot. I mean, it's up 2 3/4, 2 2/3, but giving you a predictable area. DRCT halted to the upside yet again, this time taking $3. Now the high of the day, 306, it is halted. It's up 456% now. Great strength today with DRCT, and it just occurred to me, I didn't give you any of the details on this. So here's what I'm seeing on Trade Ideas. Let me bring down the platform so I can share this info with everybody. The float, an eye-wateringly large. No, I'm kidding, of course. 3.17 million shares with a float of short float, that is, of 2.81 million. The market cap over here. Also, where's the market cap at? Market cap, show yourself. About $13 million market cap without the latest update, or the latest update to account for the move in the stock price. So decent small float. that's kind of why we're squeezing up over here at 3 million share float. Not really much in the way of a short float, so it can't really be that. Now, you know, I think I've had my dalliance with this one. I'm already down on the day because I've traded very poorly, so I don't really want to get into these higher risk trades and then be more down on the day. So I'm going to be really selective in the stocks that I trade and the entries that I take. So keeping my eye for anything that I like over here. Genuinely, I don't see anything that I can enter at these levels. Let's have a look back at rum. We were able to eke out some profits there on rum, but it did breach 1288, which is where I had my stop, right back above 13. Now that I look at rum, it looks like as if we're putting incrementally lower highs now. With a bit, we're actually putting in higher lows as well, but lower highs. So I don't want to base anything off 13 because that got me in trouble last time. So I'm unsure exactly how to trade rum at this particular price because we're not really holding any definable area to the low side that I can say, look, this is a good entry point right now. So going to pack my patience before I enter into something else, but RUM definitely in focus. GameStop, okay, right back up into that 30-60 area. Didn't quite make it down back into VWAP like I was kind of guessing it would, given how it had traded prior to that. Where it kind of spiked up and then dropped right back down. So we're trading in the 30-60s, trying to hold that 30-70 area on GME. See if this one wants to continue and possibly take out that 31 level. Neil, what's that level that you were mentioning on GameStop? 32.25 is the level that Neil has earmarked, and he's been telling me this for a hot minute, and you can kind of see that. When you look at the hourly over here, we've been working our way. The highest over here is 32.25. Definitely a lot of trouble taking 31 or 31.5 in general. You can see we've kind of had a flat top. If you look at the other side of the coin, though, we have been putting in higher lows, especially if take it from where you want, whether October or whether the more recent price action here in early December. Each and every kind of area low is a little bit higher than its predecessors, with maybe a 31.50, 32 flat top break and take. So GameStop, as I've been saying, it seems like it's priming into something over here. And having a look at the daily, you can see late October, it started spiking. It hasn't given up any of the gains that it's made since late October, but nor has it been able to break and take above that low 30 area. So the higher lows is what's important to me. With kind of a bit of a flat top here on GameStop. That's obviously not something you can use intraday, but keep your mind open to a possible swing trade here on GameStop. If you're able to take out that level, it could squeeze a little bit. What's the short float as of late on GameStop? I know I checked it last week. 8.8 1/3%. Yeah. So not the biggest, certainly, but also not negligible, Joseph.
What was it during, I guess, that initial squeeze?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was high. It was high. It was
knows.
really high. Yeah, let us know. What was the short float? And that's my argument with it. I know a lot of people love GameStop and they kind of just the sentiment and the culty type action around it, but just understand the short float isn't as high as it was. So it's going to make it more difficult for those massive squeeze into that whatever price it went to at that time. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Let's have a look at some of these mag over here because some of them are moving, man. Meta continues to knock on the door of that $600 area, 599.80 high. Very respectful Meta is of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. Every single wick or closing print has been above the 10 exponential. That is, of course, since we took it decisively at 10:30. That was the last time we printed anything lower on a closing basis below the 10 exponential on Meta. Seems to be very directional, but still unable to take that $600 area quite yet, which is totally normal. I mean, I don't expect any real direction in the market this week, as it is a holiday shortened week, of course. And we know the traders are, probably out there enjoying skiing in the Alps or skiing wherever. Did you see your boy Alex Karp on the weekend?
What was he doing?
Oh, okay, so I didn't peg him for what's it called? Country, what's it called?
Cross-country skiing?
Cross-country skiing, thank you. But yeah, man, the dude's smooth, eh?
He was smooth with it.
Yeah, and he was like wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and then he's basically mentioning the haters, as he usually does, says how he loves how the haters are losing money on his stock. But yeah, he was out there doing his ski thing. A lot of, obviously, traders probably enjoying their time off as well, and As such, we get a little bit less market volatility.
Yeah, I'd be cross-country skiing too if I was Alex Karp and having the shares. I appreciate drastically and enjoying those lessons and saying hi to everybody.
All the insider selling, no insider buying yet on Palantir.
Oh,
Can you blame them though?
No,
Everybody's up a zillion percent.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna take some profits,
They're gonna
right?
honestly, yeah, and it's gonna be a good holidays for them. So yeah, but we're gonna send it off to Adair here, folks.
Keep an eye here. We may have a new entry into the Trump sympathy play bucket, and that ticker may be Ford. Ford announcing here that they're going to be donating $1 million and a fleet of vehicles to the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. Not much of a move on this, but I just wanted to mention that because we know some of these Trump sympathy plays can move in tandem. F on watch. Back to you.
Forward, eh?
Dear
Oh,
Ollie,
boy.
I live 10 minutes away from the Alps. I never go skiing.
Really?
What?
My
used to-
mom's went to Switzerland last year, bro. She could not stop saying good stuff about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I heard.
goodness.
Yeah. I mean, my grandma used to take me and my friends to Blue Mountain for March break.
Hey.
Yeah, and we would always ride there, so it was always fun. And that's like kind of the biggest ski hill you can get in Ontario.
Oh,
so.
God, yeah. It's either that or Mount St. Louis.
Yeah, exactly. But Mount St. Louis never had night ski, right? So for the longest time.
Good call.
When me and my boys, we would go ride park, you'd have to be there early and then leave at like 4 o'clock. But with Blue Mountain, you can.
No,
you can
Blue Mountain's it's a whole scene there.
It's a whole
bro.
scene, man.
It's
been
nice.
a
I like the
long time.
village.
The
It's
village.
chill. There's a
It's been
whole
long
bunch to
time.
do.
It's been a long time since I've been. When was the last time you were there?
Last year, and I'm probably going to go up again
Oh
this
yeah,
week.
you go to
'cause my
the
sister's coming
Scandinavian.
up.
You go to the Scandinavian.
Well, no, my sister is from Collingwood. Before she moved to California.
Oh, okay,
And So
okay.
like they have a whole bunch of friends up there. So anytime she's up here,
You go
we
up
gotta
there.
schlep up there,
Nice.
drive her up there, and then she got to do all the rounds. She got to see all her friends all on my tab, all my gas.
for sure. Yeah,
Joseph?
in the Jag though, at least.
V8.
Yeah, exactly. Being real fuel efficient.
Hey, Elon
Over there.
Sharif went to Africa last year, right? Yes, I did. I went to Kenya, and it was like one of the best times of my life, man.
yeah?
Oh yeah, I went on a safari. But it was short for a week though. Definitely like to do a little bit more. It was the best. It was the best time of my life, man.
Kenya was the best time of your life?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who'd you
I'm
go
all
with?
about that eco-tourism thing. I
Oh,
want to
okay.
do a lot more of that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Have you been to Thailand?
I haven't yet.
No,
I
that's
haven't been to
the
Asia
goal.
at
Oh
all.
no,
No.
it's the goal is to get over there.
I'm
to
learning
Thailand.
Mandarin, bro. That's
Yeah,
the next
exactly.
one.
Yeah,
That's
so
the
you're
next
gonna go
one.
over there, yeah.
Way.
Chill with Xi Jinping himself.
Yeah, she. All right, guys, GameStop is moving, and it is doing quite well here. So it hasn't pulled back into the volume-weighted average price like it had on every previous pop. I'm talking about these pops into that 30 and 3/4. This time it's taking that 3/4 level decisively, looking to take out 90, so it's about 4/5 right now. The high of the day is 31.07, but it was a quick wick into 31.07 at around over here, and the quick drop back down into 30.30. So we'll see if GameStop's going. What are you laughing at?
Look what the other said, man. Come on,
The
man.
other?
Yeah, the
So
other.
like, oh, wow.
Yeah, the
Hey, they're gonna come out like that. Sharif, did you meet Mufasa there, says Kashif. Look, Kashif, I went for the gorillas, brother. So I went there
my favorite
to
animal.
actually see the mountain gorillas, and it was like the experience of a lifetime. But getting to the gorillas was quite hard because the trackers have to track them, and it took like a few hours. So when we got there, it was like you had to be super quiet, you had to wear masks, you couldn't look at the gorillas in the face, and then they weren't that active. The best part was my lion walk. That was insane.
Yeah,
okay, the lions are huge, and it's almost like unusual how cool they are around people. Now these ones, they're
real
normal
cool. Yeah,
around people, right?
yeah.
The park rangers, like they obviously knew them, they took care of them, everything like that. But you couldn't get too close to the lions, bro.
Why would you want to get too close to the lion?
I don't know, because hold on, Neil,
like they're real cool. Yeah, they're real cool
they slow down
until they're
So
hungry.
They're not like they're not train cars, bro.
Yeah.
You know, they stop, they smell, they do stuff,
Yeah.
and so you have to adjust to what they're doing because you can't get too close.
Yeah.
So it was a
I would hope so. Yeah, I would
bro,
think
it was,
so. Yeah,
it was
yeah,
one of the
yeah,
most
yeah.
insane experiences ever.
Crazy.
Male lions are
They're huge.
huge.
Yeah, they're massive.
Huge. And I know they look a lot more inflated because their mains and stuff like that. But dude, the muscle on that is insane.
I love silverback gorillas though. The gorillas being my favorite. I definitely
But it's kind of boring, Joseph. Like I expected a little bit more. Like I thought, some people would get pushed over and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because some of the silverbacks, they need to let you know that this is their territory, bro. So they come and they knock you over, this, that, and the other, and everything's fine.
I wouldn't be getting too close to the lions myself. I don't. So
Why you get close? I didn't get close, guys. They get close to you. I'm being serious. You just have to adjust to them. What'd you say, Neil? Well, because like I was just explaining, like they stop, they move into close to you, like they want to come back, they hear prey so that they like come back to where you are. So you need to like actually actively get out of their way, which is, it's intense. It's an intense experience, but one of definitely my favorite experiences ever. No question about it. Yeah, of course. No, the park rangers, man, let me tell you guys, these guys were the best people ever. They care so much about their country, and for people out there that think that you're exploiting these animals, I just want to let you know one quick thing, that the government wants to turn their habitat into farmland. The only way not to turn that habitat into farmland is by actually generating revenue from that land itself through ecotourism, and so that's kind of why they do that whole thing. So before I get any hate, what's up, Neil?
I'm not going to drop any hate right now. However, and I truly think it's amazing. You had a great experience. Everyone has to have like things that you're passionate about, and they're a lot of fun. But I think what you've just made a strong case for, Sharif, is why everyone should be long Metastock. Because you can have a pretty incredible experience in VR, where I'm not close to any lions and gorillas, but I'll certainly feel like I'm walking amongst them without the actual threat of death, which is amazing. Because as far as I'm concerned, if I can get the same thrill of it without having to face down, like my life flashing between my eyes, last time I checked, there's a reason why amusement rides are popular and Six Flags does well and Canada's Wonderland is fantastic, because I don't have to jump out of an airplane. I can go on a roller coaster. And now I can get a Meta VR headset. I'm not even making an advertisement. By the way, Meta's right under 600, potential breakout happening. That's not here or there. But I really think you've made a strong case for VR, because that is, I would love to walk with the gorillas too, but I just don't want to actually walk with them, Sharif. So I'll get a headset and do it the right way. And then you'll see me. You're never going to see me in some headline, a Canadian tourist was eaten by a live lion. Like, no, it's just not going to be me. I promise you guys that much. VR all the way. I'm out.
You guys, man. Guys, I already told you. If there was a sign up sheet to be the first to go to Mars, I'd put my name.
It was already, wasn't there?
Like a real one, not like,
what happened?
An Elon one. If there was a sign up sheet, Joseph, to be the first to own functional
hold on, time out.
eVTOL.
Let's go back here. A one-way ticket to Mars. You're going. That's it. There's no. Okay, bro. All right. See you later.
Come on now.
All right, we're gonna send it to Dara.
Hey, basically, I'm seeing some speculation here, and again, this is not confirmed. This is pure speculation. Some people saying that they believe they're seeing LiDAR testing happening at Giga Texas, but regardless, speculation here that Tesla is testing some LiDAR here, which is light detection and ranging on a model in their Gigafactory in Texas. So keep an eye on TSLA. I would like to clarify that story, pure speculation, but it is circulating around X, though the stock is not reacting too much. And we are brought to you by Trade the Pool. Start Christmas early with Trade the Pool's ultimate gift for traders. Buy one, get one free. Buy an 80K, 160K, or 260K buying power evaluation. You get a free $20,000 evaluation, plus enjoy 7 extra days on both plans. And don't forget that once you meet the profit target, you'll become a funded trader and start trading with Trade the Pool's capital. You'll trade real shares, not CFDs, and you'll access over 12,000 symbols. You can even short penny stocks with no extra brokerage fees. Scan the QR code to trade now, but don't wait. This offer ends January 1st. It could be your best trading move yet. Back to you.
Yeah, I love what you guys are throwing there in the chat, man. Everybody has completely different opinions. I'm more respectful of everybody's opinions. I could not be more respectful of everyone's preferences. I could not be. I just happen. I don't even peg myself as a big risk taker IRL, Joseph. But there's some technology that I'm just willing to throw my weight behind. And come what may, bro. If I get like, look. You know how they want to do Mars, right? They want to send everything ahead.
I swear there was people that signed up for that like a couple
No, bro.
years
I mean
ago.
like an Elon,
okay,
kind of
SpaceX.
instigate thing.
All
So
right.
they want to send everything to Mars first, using spaceship or Starship, obviously. So you have all your whatever the enclosures that you're going to be able to stay in, your rovers, your food, everything's going to be there ahead of you, right? And so then you would go there when everything's already kind of set, and then you'd be able to kind of use everything and kind of live off. I don't want to say live off the land, but you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah. And if that was organized in that way, and there was a trip back where I could see my family, come on, May, bro. I make it back. I don't make it back. You know, I'm one of the only people in like the history of the universe that can say I went there. It's a good way to go, in my opinion. Yeah. Right? That's just the way it is. Obviously, I don't want to be eaten by a lion. Don't extend that whole principle into getting eaten by wild animals. But
so you'd be Matt Damon then, pretty much, is what you're getting at.
Ooh, yeah, that was
on the Martian
there, bro.
On The Martian or Interstellar? Matt Damon, Interstellar.
Yeah, Interstellar. He's sinister in Interstellar, bro.
Yeah.
What's it called? His planet again? Something's planet?
Yeah,
it's like his planet.
I can't even remember.
Yeah, I don't want to be Matt Damon, Interstellar. I'll be more Martian, though, for sure.
Martian.
The guy's creative. He uses his own, whatever ways.
He had to do what he had to do, man. He had to do what he had to do. So, hey, that means I won't be taking any 6-month trip to, we can't even get this. There's astronauts that have been stuck in orbit in orbit for almost a year now. They can't even get them home.
Yeah,
and you think you're gonna come home from Mars?
You know who you're gonna thank for that, right?
Who we thinking?
The good people at Boeing, bro.
Oh,
they got fantastic engineering there. They don't use dish soap or anything like lubricant. Everything is fine. They send people to space. They bring them back. Elon doesn't have to help out or intervene or anything like that.
What do you think the mental toll is on those individuals that's been stuck up there for?
Well, they're with people in the space station. There's other people there.
Yeah, there's other people there, but even so, you're in space and you've been trapped, and everybody's prolonging your return home. It's been month after month. How long have they been up there? How long have they been up there?
I don't know.
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, a long time, dude.
That's
scary. Yeah, but that's scary in a long time. So what if your rover on Mars was like, hey, man, we can't make this trip back for another 2.5 years.
Yeah, that sucks.
You know what I mean?
That sucks.
Yeah, that would totally suck. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, guys, so let's talk a little bit about the TQs here. I punched out and then I got back in as we rejected to make any new high a day. With Meta trending to the top side, this might be a little bit of a dangerous trade, but I'm going to hold on to this for a little bit longer. Again, I like the RVR significantly more now compared to what it was. I punched out at the highs, unfortunately, but then we just got back in. So let's see if we can go and test, but it's a much better RVR front on this trade now, because look at what I had to risk to the high a day before compared to now. So that's just something I'm always keeping an eye on. I would rather realize the small loss, get back in, opposed to just hold and it not work in my favor. So again, I like this RVR significantly more. I do think that we can turn around, excuse me, and go and test these lows here and this support and resistance zone. So I am liking that. The chat's fired up about all the space stuff there. Yeah, liking it, guys. I watched a really good anthology yesterday as well too.
Hear it.
Yeah. It was literally that. It was about one of the episodes was about space travel, and it was kind of like that interstellar aspect where 60 seconds on one planet is like 15 years on another one, which is just absolutely insane. Yeah.
Do you understand that when you get closer to the speed of light, distance between two objects gets closer? How the hell does that work? So you have to think about space-time as like a graph that bends. So you can it's hard to explain without having like an animation. Maybe I'll find one quickly. But basically, as you get closer to the speed of light, Joseph, the distance, so say Andromeda Galaxy is about 2.5 million light years away, that could actually be a lot closer IRL. But the point is, even if you were to get to that speed, one sec, Fabian, even if you were to get to that speed, and came back to tell everybody about it, it'd be like 5 million years later.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was like
exactly.
nobody that you could actually share that with, and probably be a whole different species of people.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Fabian? Time slows down, yeah. No, I get that time slows down, Fabian, but what I didn't understand was why distance actually gets closer when you're going at the speed of light, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It was really good stuff. So I like anthologies, big anthology guy. But yeah, this TQQ's trade isn't working out necessarily how I would like. We'll do that in a second for the second poll, because in a matter of a couple minutes here, Sharif, we're going to have to document our Playmaker poll shortly here. Yeah, don't think we forgot about that, folks. We said that we're going long on the SPY. It seems to be the winning vote, but let's get a couple more votes in here, guys. Let's get that to 1,000. We got 3 minutes left. Let's get that up. We only need 65 more votes. That's not asking too much. 3,800 of you watching.
Easy.
Let's get those votes in. Let's see if we can kind of close that gap in. Speaking about time gaps, let's see if we can close let's get this gap in here with some shorts. Let's get some shorts maybe to vote on there, or those longs, guys, but let's get that to 1,000. Time is only for humans. Yeah, apparently. Well, it's for everybody, but yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Forex AU. Oh, my guy, I haven't seen you in the chat today, so thanks for chiming in. But yeah, let's get those votes in. We're still holding on to this TQ short. If we have the inability to break that high a day, then I think this thesis may be intact. But again, when we have stocks like Meta and some of the other mega cap stocks continuing to trade higher, that's going to be a little bit of a tougher look there. So I would need these guys to start pulling back in and selling in order for that thesis to play out. So let's take a look at NVDA as well, too. Okay, yeah. Still crawling higher, still kind of going testing those highs of days. If this continues to move, then yeah, that thesis is in absolute trouble. Up about 2.74% on the session. And look at this thing from a daily perspective. We'll pull it up on, excuse me, on a different chart. And we'll look at NVDA from a daily perspective. And here we go. Yeah, and I mentioned once we held these levels, I thought that we were going to continue to hold and potentially bounce. I did like this pivot. I was talking about this one before, created a bull put and then got stopped out. Totally fine. I'm not going to create another credit spread for the year. We'll wait until next year. But again, yeah, holding these levels really well. We had that head and shoulders pattern now starting to continue. Now we're mid-range here. I do think in a matter of time that we do and go test these all-time highs. Sharif, let me see.
Yes, sir. I want to let you guys know there's another small cap gapper that is making its way onto the scene here. CHEK. Check Cap is the name of the company. Very small market cap, 7 million shares traded, about 4.5 million shares today with a float of 4.3 million shares. We've had 2 up halts right now, 1 down halt, currently caught. I'm not caught, but we're in a $120 down halt right now. Let's find out what the theoretical auction price is on this one. It's going to have to stay above $1 for me to stay interested. Currently, the tap is 118, so 2 pennies below the halt level. It's also going to have to reclaim that $1.30. That's where the volume weighted average price is. I'm not going to trade any of these small cap gappers south of VWAP. Every time I do that, I end up, which is a breach of my rule, I end up losing on it. So I'm really going to try to stick to my rules today, already being down on the day. So this one looks like it's got another minute before it unhalts if we are to be a 5-minute halt right now. So CHEK up 103%. Good look right now, about 4.5 million shares, which is nothing. I mean, this one really only started getting going at 12:30. Is there a news headline on this? None that I see. What does this company do? Are they LiDAR? Israeli-based clinical stage medical diagnostics company? No. So they're an Israeli company. According to Luis, these Israeli companies have been moving wild lately. Luis Barbado was on last Thursday, small cap gap trader in Barcelona, Spain. What brought that to my attention. So we're going to keep an eye out on CHEK. It's going to find its way onto the side chart, and it's going to replace TRAW. So we're going to throw that on. And I also want to talk about RUM. Rumble coming back down off that 13 3/4 touch, and it looks like as if it's holding right now the 10 exponential moving average. I've traded RUM poorly today. Initially some good entries on it, but just a bunch of mistakes led me to kind of not trading it very well. So what I'll look to do here to see do we retrace down into that 20 exponential? The last time we actually breached it. So I want to see a possible hold at 13. Rumble, I mean, everything's setting up properly on Rumble. It's above VWAP. It's above the 10. Just going to have to figure out the right entry. Okay, so CHEK open over here, dropping down below that $1.22 that it was halted at. Now we're at a $1.10, $1.12. It's going to have to hold $1 for me to even keep it on the side chart, but it's going to have to be above a $1.30 for me to trade it. And here we go, back into 123. Can it reclaim the volume weighted average price, which is on my chart right now at a $1.29? This is up 100%. It's got a small float. I don't think it has a bigger short float. Let's check quickly. CHEK. No, negligible short float here on CHEK, which is saying 0.21% for the short float there. Adara, though, is at the big desk.
We're going to take a look here at crypto, as we always do around 1 p.m. during the midday. Make sure if you did or did not participate in the Playmaker poll or our previous poll for the rundown, you have the opportunity to vote in a brand new poll. It will be dropping soon. There'll be 4 tickers to choose from. 4 tickers, there you go. 4 tickers to choose from. And then the top 4 tickers between that poll and our first rundown poll that started at 11 a.m. will be gone over by Neil and Obi during the rundown at 2 p.m. Sharif will be on the green screen gesticulating wildly. So let's take a look here at some crypto. I want to talk about MSTR. This graphic was published by CNBC early this morning, showing MSTR's Bitcoin holdings. Now, as of the time this graphic was made, 439,000. Then this morning around 8 a.m., MicroStrategy revealed they have now acquired another 5,262 Bitcoin. So now this is actually not an accurate number anymore. Currently, as of this morning, holding 444,262 Bitcoin. So that is quite the number of Bitcoin. They are by far the largest corporate holder. But what's interesting, too, is the extent to which they are the largest corporate holder. So here is BitBo. This is just a look at Bitcoin treasuries. The next largest amount of Bitcoin held by a public company is going to be Marathon Digital with 40,435 Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy is roughly 10 times the amount of Bitcoin that Mara has, which is pretty significant. MicroStrategy also is the only public company that has more than 1% of the total 21 million Bitcoin available, holding about 2.116%. So I thought that was kind of interesting look there in terms of public companies holding Bitcoin. MicroStrategy certainly runs the roost there. Let's take a look at Bitcoin itself, which is continuing to crater towards that 92,000. As mentioned earlier, 92,000 certainly serving a support level on the daily chart for BTC USD. Let's take a look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum, interestingly, holding up pretty decently despite this pretty nasty double top on the daily chart around that key 4,000 level. We topped it once there, December 6th, and again we hit this level December 17th, heading into the FOMC meeting. So keep an eye here on ETH and BTC USD, having very different trajectories today. Let's see all these crypto names and all these tickers shape up, and make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying our stream. Thank you.
Huh. That's interesting. Right?
Are you seeing what I'm seeing here?
Yeah, maybe we'll see if it got updated, possibly, yeah.
Because when I was looking at Adara, if you can send me that, Adara, can you send me that Bitcoin chart of the largest holders? Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, but anyways, guys, we'll get back to that shortly, but you know what time it is. Sharif, what time is it?
It is 1:05, so we got to do the Playmaker.
Okay, yeah, there we go, yeah. That's it. I didn't mean literally, time. That's what I was looking for. Not a literal time, yeah.
So what do you need from me
right now? All right, brother, okay, let's get on to the Playmaker poll, guys. As you can see, half decent looking equity curve here, Sharif, but we need our entry price here on that front.
593.06.
593.06.
Stop out. 592.06 stop out.
592.06. 592.06 is our stop out price.
595.06 beak wetter.
595.06 is that beak wetter. But we're going to look to be taking some profits, guys. 105 is the time that we are in. Orders are set. Stop losses are placed. We got a stop out on that one, folks. Totally fine. But let's see what's going to bring the rest of the day. I think, again, it's kind of similar to our Friday scenario. I think it's going to be a tough one to hit our 595 target. I'm not going to rule it out, especially as the market looks like it wants to break that pivot high that I was mentioning not too long ago. So it's definitely possible to continue to the northeast, especially if the mags are going to start to continue. So yeah, I like this right now. we're in a little bit of a tight spot, but only time will tell, my friends, on how we do on the Playmaker poll of the day.
Joseph,
Yes,
what
sir.
4 did you put on the first poll? You remember?
Which part of me?
Which 4 takers did you put on the first poll?
Oh yeah, Tesla, NVDA, IBIT, or actually no, that's a fib. It was RGTI.
You can just go into the
ROM. Yeah, I'm trying to. We got a lot of things up here. Here we go. The first ones I put up: Tesla, RGTI, ROM, and IBIT.
All right,
The first
cool.
ones,
I'm
all right.
sending him
All right,
the poll
cool.
right
Yeah.
now. All right, so we're gonna just hold on.
Yeah,
for 1
I'll
sec.
take it. You want me to? Yeah, I got it all under control here, folks. Continue to let us know what's going on. Dara sent me the message here, which I am really curious to see, because what I thought I was missing on here is like, why wasn't by categories, ETFs, countries, public companies. Yeah, let's go to public companies here. Okay, so I thought that Grayscale and BlackRock were going to be on here. But why are they not on here? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. All right.
Yeah, I think those are just the public. It's interesting,
okay,
right? We're going to throw Meta on here.
Yeah, we're
too,
going to throw Meta on there. Okay, so this is really interesting here, folks. 444,000 Bitcoin. Wow. This stuff has to add up real quick, because I know that about 95% of all Bitcoin are currently mined, and a lot of people are already hoarding these already. So I think we might be getting up there and close to, like, I don't think there's much more. I mean, 2140 is when the last Bitcoin, I think, is going to be mined, and then the rest of that is just, everything else is going to be in circulation from that point. But guys, I'm out of this TQQ trade. We broke that high, so thesis invalid. Market is really strong, recovering well. I guess that the statistic that I brought up not too long ago, the other day, when the VIX spikes more than 60% in a session, that the market within less than a month continues to push higher and potentially makes all-time highs. As of right now, this is the scenario that seems to be taking place right now. So, okay, yep. But other than that, I'm not going to complain about it. That's totally fine with me. We took 2 stop outs. We're not going to sit here and whine, that's for sure. We're going to look to participate in the strength. I'm not going to buy the high day break. The volume isn't really stepping in. So we'll just sit here and wait, Sharif. What do you got?
I'm just answering Chef too. I believe we did have the 2-year note auction, guys, for whoever was asking there.
But we're going to send it to Adara real quick, yeah.
Sharif, I was just going to cover this. We did have the 2-year note auction. Some of the markets pushing higher here. Q is up about almost 1% at this point. 2-year note auction at 1 p.m. came in at 4.335% for the high yield versus 4.274% expected, slightly higher than expected. Also of note, Meta briefly breaking above 600 as of right now we're back below. So some of these markets getting a little bit of push to the upside, but this was noticed, I'd say, a couple minutes after the 2-year story, so it could be a bit of a delayed auction reaction either way. Worth noting, slightly higher than expected, or previous anyway. 2-year note yield auction. Back to you guys.
I here on Rumble now. It's been consistent in staying above that 13 and a quarter. The last little dip below 13 did hold up a bit of a trend line. Now it looks like it's working its way back into that $0.75 area. Nice higher highs and higher lows. We're going to get involved over here. Very small position. We're going to work in. I like the next ad at around or dip trade around that 13 and a third. So we're going to set that up right now. We're going to throw in that dip trade to account for the 20 exponential moving average. We'll see what we get, and then hopefully we won't get too upset today, but it's been a rough trading day for me today. DRCT halted again. This one looks like it's going to be a little bit of a longer halt, guys. I've got 2 dashes now on the 5-minute chart, which usually means it's going to be a 10-minute halt, if not more. Halted at 305. Let's have a look and see where the theoretical auction price is on DRCT, so it's higher. We're halted at 1305 with the tap. The theoretical auction price showing 322. Sorry, I hope I wasn't saying 13. I meant 3. That's just how out of it I am today. So 322 theoretical auction price tap up 454%. Good look right now for DRCT holding, the 10 exponential moving average on all the halts. Ever since it bounced off the 20 over here at 12 o'clock, that seems like a really long time ago. It's been above the 10. even when it did halt down over here, it bounced off the 10 exponential, holding that 290 right back above 3. So good strength for this one. You're going to have to trade it in a different way, though, and be ready to be locked into it for 5, 10 more minutes, because it's been really kind of having trouble staying open at the moment. So we're working our way into Rumble, looking at building a bit of a position over here. So we're going to take really small share size to build up the position on Rumble. It's been putting in higher lows. That keeps me, confident that the trend is still intact to the high side. So pack our patience, see what we're able to get there. CHEK still zigging and zagging, guys, below that $1.20, below the volume weighted average price. So I'm not going to trade this, whether it's up 100% or not. And it is. It's going to really need to stay above that $1.25 where VWAP is right now. CHEK is the one I'm talking about. It showed up there just midday at 12:35, so a bit of a newer one showing up on the scene. But the poll is now live. You've got Uber up there. I had to throw up Uber, even though it's only up 2.25%. How come? Because it seems to be holding that $60 level. And if I can, allow me a moment here, indulge me for a second. I was showing this to Joseph earlier before we got on. Let's have a look at the weekly, because this $60 level on Uber is important. Look at this area crest that we put in. This is the weekly, guys, by the way, on Uber, that we got into. Let's just say initially we got into it January of 2021. We kind of held that level as a level of resistance till we gave it up in about April of 2021. Then we all know what happened, late in 2021, early 22. We had a bit of a sell on the market in general. Uber was not spared. It went all the way down to $20. And then here we go again. We ended up taking 60 decisively back in the earlier part of this year, January. And then don't look too much over here. This is Black Monday, okay? So these two candle dips over here. This is Black Monday from back in August when the yen carry trade unwinded. We did dip below there, but as you can see, we quickly reclaimed 60. This is the more operative part to me right over here, this 62 and change. So I want to see what I've been waiting for, and I changed Uber's positioning on my watch list so that I can see it every day, because if Uber's going to hold 60, then I'm going to build a position into Uber, and Uber has been now 3 weeks straight holding above that $60 level. So, it could be worth a look over here now. Whether it's going to go in your long-term investment account, it's going to be a swing, whatever it's going to be. I'm going to keep my eye on Uber at $60, seeing if it holds that level. And today, it's giving you that 2% pump. So not a bad look right now. So we'll keep an eye out on that. So Uber, AMD, DRCT, the one that's up 450%, I threw there. And then Meta, breaking through that $600 area. 629 is the high of the day. NVIDIA I was obviously going to throw on there, but Joseph had already thrown it on the first poll. NVIDIA leading the Mag 7 today, up over 3%. It's kind of been a little bit of Tesla, a little bit of NVIDIA, a little bit of Meta, switching places as to who was more up on the day. So get your votes in now, and then we'll have the afternoon rundown for you. I'm going to vote Uber. I know Uber is not going to get that much love. AMD #1 right now with a big day on AMD, and I don't think it could come any sooner because AMD has been getting clobbered lately. It's been a tough little while for AMD, up now 5 1/5. AVGO likewise been the same look, 5 1/2. The semis are really in vogue today. Taiwan Semi, 5 1/4. That is, of course, unless your name is ARM or Micron, they're negative on the day. They're the only two negative names in my microchip semiconductor watch list on the day that are actually negative. So we'll have, we'll keep an eye on that. But this is the chart right now on AMD. Very respectful of the volume weighted average price at 124.5 dip was money. And you would have printed $1 off that because we're about 125 1/3, 125.5 right now. So decent look today for AMD, and not a moment too soon. Shout out to Yannick, PLTR looking to make local highs. Let's have a look at Palantir. Shout out to the carped one. Him and his hair were skiing on the weekend. Yeah. Let's have a look. PLTR. What do we got over here? So PLTR break even on the day, marginally negative actually, Joseph, 0.09% negative. The closing print on PLTR on Friday, 80.54. We've been only above it a couple of times. Both have been failed breaks. That 11.55, 12 o'clock pop, you rejected, dipped off VWAP, held VWAP, and then you had pop again over here at 105, 110. And now we're below it again. What I could say, though, is even though we're not parabolic or anything on Palantir, we've been putting in higher lows. So it's a good look if you're able to buy the dips on PLTR, possible continuation maybe through 81. We're still well below the pre-market highs. Like, look where we're printing at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. We're basically at 83 bucks, 82.90 and change. Still below that level, and obviously at Friday's close right now. So we just took a bit of a print right now on Rumble as it broke through that $0.75 area. So we'll set up at 77s for another beak wetter, and then we'll also set up at 88s for another beak wetter over here. Didn't get the dip trade, sadly, so we're only holding a small position right now on Rumble, but we are in the money, which is more than I can say for most of my trades on the day. So we'll see if we can break through that $14 area. HOD on Rumble, 14.17. We didn't spend too much time above that $14 level, though. So maybe we take it a bit more decisively today. So I've set up, yeah, there we go. We got the prints at 77s. So let's see if we can get some at 88s there.
Yep, good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just about to chuckle here about Garrett Huggins' little quip there. You kicked my dog. I'm sure, I don't know if he's talking about that old prank call, but if you haven't heard the kicked my dog prank call, a quick YouTube search is all you need to do. It's a good chuckle. It's very old. It's very old. Neil, you know that's actually from Brampton, right? Of course, Neil knows it's from Brampton. Bro, yeah. The most, you know what I'm talking about, right? Of course you know what I'm talking about.
Really old, man.
Yeah, Jameson knows. He knows what's up. What are you looking at?
Yeah, no, I find this, so I'm looking at what Adara sent me here.
What does she got?
And just like that Bitcoin, all the holders of Bitcoin here, and there's a miner in the UK that has 11 Bitcoin. I don't want to belittle them or anything, but like I have a buddy that has 12 Bitcoin. So yeah, you know what I mean? So like, what is this 11 here?
I love it.
Yeah,
just throw bear shade on who is this?
It's Argo Blockchain. Sorry, ADL. Over there, our guy Adam DeLuce in the UK. It's not, but I mean, hey, it's better than what I have. There's no doubt about that. So I shouldn't really show shade on that. But I didn't know you could be a miner with 11 Bitcoin. But whatever.
It is. Yep. Muy cansado. You're my man. I know you don't want to watch videos of dogs getting kicked. Neither do I.
Muy cansado.
But I promise you, no, I don't.
Very tired.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why he's not getting the joke. But no, seriously, there's no dogs getting kicked, brother. It's a prank. It's a prank call. I wouldn't want to see any dogs getting kicked either. I mean, if you've got time and if you're not trading, have a listen, guys. It's really fun.
Andre Fabian, that's what that means, right? Come on, the boy knows a little bit. Yeah.
Joseph, we're gonna weasel into GameStop as well over here because it's worked its way down into the volume weighted average price, and I could be certainly persuaded to get a dip trade off here. But now the spread is quite wide, or it's about 9 pennies right now on GameStop, a little unusual. So I'm going to set up a couple of dip trades here, just like I did with Rumble. So if this one dips down a little bit more, I can eke out some profitability. We're long 59s. You know where we're going to set up. If we're in the 60s, you know where I'm going to set up. So we're going to set up here for a beak wetter at 69s, but I will be putting some dip trades into the 40s because as I mentioned earlier, I believe the money fills are a little bit below the volume weighted average price on GameStop. At least that's been my observation on the day. So we'll set up with a couple over here and see what we get. Michael's going to kick your cat, so watch out there. I don't know, Michael. That might not be a good idea. Cats hold grudges. Honestly, guys, thank you for all your insights. Shout out to you, Garrett. I like the vibes, my man. K Hodel. K, hold on for dear life. Kicked my dog by the Jerky Boys. No, I don't know anything about that, but No dogs were harmed in the prank, Garrett. You are absolutely accurate. I promise you, no dogs were harmed in the prank. The guy who, I'm not going to burn it for you guys. You guys got to go listen to it.
Yeah, I don't know if the humor is going to be as, because I was like a young teenager, you know what I mean?
Oh, bro, I can still get a chuckle listening to that stuff right now, man.
Stuff.
And we would imitate these calls. Like, we had like a whole thing where we tried recording them. And dude, let me tell you, to record phone calls on analog things back in the day was a lot harder of an endeavor than it is now. It's like a quick app. You can record a call.
I know Neil likes the John Cena one. That John Cena prank call. Yeah, that one is actually hilarious. Because when I first heard it, it actually gets you a couple times. And it's like, oh, John Cena. All right, but yeah, anyways, guys. It's actually funny stuff. Yeah, guys. I don't know. Tough look for me on the session as well, too, there, Sharif. It's a tough one here. We're gonna punch out of this trade. Just flipping biases. So yeah, we're just kind of just jumping around here. Let me see if I can pop out of this. Yeah, here we go. Now I'm out. Just getting chopped up here on this lovely Monday. Totally fine. We're not gonna get too worried about it. So again, we'll be looking forward to the new year when everything starts to get rolling again. But as of right now, just gonna continue to monitor these mega cap stocks, whatever I'm trying to say there, and see what Meta is up to. Because it is one of the stronger ones, up 2.3% on the session. So again, just gonna look to participate in some of the strength. Let's see what Google is up to as well. Because again, as I just mentioned, I'm kind of just fighting some of these trends here, and I'm fighting things that aren't really relatively strong. So again, just gonna wanna look to participate in what's strong and avoid what's not, because clearly we found what has not been overly strong thus far. All right, so again, we'll keep in mind, keep risk relatively tight here too, so you just scale down on size, especially when you're leading into the new year and around those holiday seasons. So again, I'm not gonna push too much, just looking to take a couple trades here and see what's going on. And again, sure enough, Google is now rejecting these hive days as well too, so looks like we might get stopped out of Google, and then that might be it from a risk standpoint on the session. Yeah, so if we break this 193.50 level, I'm gonna pop out of this trade as well too. So guys, let me know what you're looking at in the chat. Let's go over some of the top volume stocks here on the session. So again, NVDA sitting on the top spot there, PLTR in second, SoundHound in third, Stocks L in fourth place there, and then Tesla and QUBT hovering around that 50 million shares traded on the session thus far. Now let's go take a look at the overall market and see what sectors are continuing to perform. I'm sure enough, the tech sector has picked up a little bit of steam. We now have 3 total green sectors on the session. We only had 1 at the beginning of the session. So now we have 3, with tech sector up about 0.5%, just a little bit over, closer to 0.6, that is. And then the communications sector up about 0.1, about 1.4% on that day. And then the healthcare sector, 0.02%. So just slightly green. And then we have consumer discretionary, negative 0.01%, all right? So those are the top 4 sectors performing this far, with one of them being green, and then we'll go from the bottom up, all right? So consumer staples is really weak today. Let's take a look at Walmart, actually, and see what's going on with Walmart. Oh, really starting to recover now on the session, so that's a good look for Walmart. A nice rounded bottom, the inability to create any new lows here, put in a nice base, and then now we're trading above the volume-weighted average price. But again, consumer staples is in last place, down 1.68% on the session, with utilities in second last, down about 1%, and then materials around the same thing, 0.95% on the session. Now, let's take a look at XLP and just run through some of the sector ETFs to see what's going on. So yeah, XLP kind of mimicking what Walmart is up to. Then we'll take a look at XLU, see what XLU is up to. Slowly recovering off that base, but it's that gap down that really hurt XLU, the utility sector. So yeah, tough look there, but nice recovery off the bottom. Now let's take a look at XLK and see what the overall tech sector is. That probably would have been a better play for me. We are now coming off the tops on this one. So again, leading into that 2 o'clock hour, things might slow down. The volume is starting to step off as well too. So just keep that in mind. People are getting ready for the holidays now. XLC, let's take a look at what XLC is up to. Yeah, trading really nice as well too. Again, had a really weak opening session, traded below VWAP, but then we since punched through VWAP as well. Decided to hold it really strong, put in this consolidation phase, and then put in that second leg higher. Are we going to go and test this opening drive high? I don't know, but it's definitely possible. There's no doubt about that. So that is XLC. And then let's take a look at XOV, healthcare sector. All right, yeah, so again, trading relatively nice here as well too. So again, just going to all the sectors that are positive and taking a look at them and seeing how they're trading, all right? So they're trading half decently, you can't overly complain. So we're in some Google, which would be under XLC, guys, communication services on Google. We are punching in at the high a day, so it's not the best look. Really tough RVR here from that aspect. 193.5 is where we're going to get out, but let's see if we can continue and punch this high a day, and then we'll hold on to that one. But other than that, guys, we went 0 for 2 on TQQ, which is totally fine. 0 for on that one, and then 0 for on IBIT as well too. So yeah, a little bit of a tougher look happens on some days, so I'm not going to get too worked up about that. Not going to let that ruin my week or anything like that, because there's always going to be another trading day and a better trading day. There's
Absolutely.
no doubt.
You don't watch Saturday Night Live, do you?
I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I. But it was an interesting thing. They were doing a little bit there. You know the two guys that do the news, one the black guy and the white guy?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
I like that's like the bit that I like. So your boy Mangione, I mean he's not your boy, but he got dude got screaming ovations from the crowd. Look, I'm not trying to pontificate one way or another, but yeah, that movement online supporting that, which I find to be really, really interesting. Obviously, it's you never want to. That's never really the solution, but just to me, it's more indicative of the hatred for that entire industry.
Yeah,
obviously,
absolutely.
no one should be losing their life.
No.
Like he was getting screams from the crowd. Yeah, and you guys can Google it all you want, but
I mean, yeah,
I found that to be super interesting. The only reason I even thought about that is I was seeing UNH on my side chart there, kind of reminded me about that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but hey.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
It is.
So right now, guys, we're looking for that move into 80s on GameStop. Good trade right now. We're at 59s. Let's see if we can get that print at 82s over here. That's the next area I'm waiting at. I'm looking at.
That was for you, Adara.
Hey?
No, for Adara. Coughing a lung up.
Oh, yeah, that's Adara. Yeah, she's under the weather too, bro. We're all struggling in this office right now. Trust me. Yeah, I'm waiting for that print on GameStop. I'm also looking at adding here. I added a little bit over here in the low 50s on rum, but I'm still waiting for that bigger add at the third of a dollar. That's kind of the base that we set up there. If we get that print, great. We'll see if we can get up a little bit more. We've already taken out a couple of prints there on RUM. Yuval Reina, the healthcare system here is absolute trash. Canada does it right, man. Brother, I know you hear good things, or maybe you don't. I don't know what you hear down there, but the healthcare system is not perfect up here. It's fantastic to have, especially if you've got a longer-term illness and a more serious illness. You're definitely well taken care of. But I'm sure you heard about the individual who went to the emergency room and ended up dying of an aneurysm because they sent him home, or he just had to wait there in the lobby. And there's also something we have here called hallway healthcare, because a lot of people there's no rooms, so that they put the stretchers in the beds.
Yeah, but we pay all this tax towards it, so yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tougher look, guys. We'll keep an eye out on that. Here we go. Nice. We got the print on GameStop to the high side over here through 82s. Let's see, what are we doing here on GameStop? All right, now we're going to set up high 80s. Let's set up at 88s. And for another test, possibly the high of the day, and that $31 area here on GME. Good bounce off VWAP. The money entry on GameStop, there was the $0.50. I ended up getting 59, so I didn't quite get the money filled, but we're awfully close. And the reason I entered there was a VWAP bounce on GME. So try to have a predictable entry, showing 85s right now on the ask, waiting at 88s here. Let's see if this one wants to pump back up, back to RUM. This one back in the 70s. We're long 59s. I'm waiting next at the lofty price of 88. So you guys know if I'm waiting in the 80s, I'm waiting at 82 or 88. If I'm waiting in the 60s, I'm waiting at 69s, and I won't change my mind. That's just the way it is there. So let's see if this one at RUM wants to continue to test that $14 area. I added a little bit here into the $0.50. So initially we got in at 59s. I added at 51s. So a bit of a better cost basis right now on RUM. Back to GameStop. Here we go. Now showing 88s on the ask, 89s on the ask. However, the bid is 85. So it crosses, we don't get filled. GameStop, a bit of a wider spread right now. The level 1 showing me 7 pennies, the level 2 showing me 6. So a bit of a conflict there. We'll see what we get when we get back from Adair.
We're going to take a look here at the US dollar, which is trying, as of right now, interestingly enough, have a little bit of rejection of this high on November 22nd, which was a Friday. We're around that 108 area, just holding on to that level. Again, we did open quite a bit lower here around that 107.8. Still, though, pretty removed from our most recent high there of that 108.50, which was the area we kind of reached on the FOMC. Then we fell from that level on the Thursday following the FOMC. This looks like this range, though, was kind of the highest we've been at since we go back here. We are basically at this is multi-year highs. This is about the highest level we've been around since November 2022. So nice look here, DXY, pretty strong. Let's also take a look at the CAD to the USD because I'm just seeing it here. Apparently, the Bank of Canada minutes from the most recent meeting are floating in as of right now. The Canadian dollar is still continuing to base out here with the USD. This is our third green day, saying amongst other things that members agreed that they would likely consider further reductions at the policy rate at future meetings. So looks like Bank of Canada is going to continue lowering rates going forward. Let's also, though, back to the U.S. for a moment. Let's take a look at these probabilities for the FOMC for the next meeting, January 29th, if you can believe it, 2025. New year just upon us here. So we are expecting 91.4% of participants here pricing in no rate cuts, which is not super surprising. Fed Chair Jerome Powell made it seem pretty bleak that there would be a rate cut. And pretty much all of the many Feds we had on Friday, with the exception of Feds Goolsbee, gave the vibe that we're not really going to have many rate cuts this year at all. So this really being reflected here, especially if you see compared to 1 week ago, December 16th. So this would be before the last meeting. 83.8% of participants thought no cut. Now almost everyone is expecting there will not be a cut at this most recent meeting. We're going to have to wait and see what that happens. In case you're wondering, the last 8.6%, no one is expecting a hike as of right now, but this 8.6% thinks there could be a 25 basis point cut. As of right now, literally, it seems like pretty much the whole market is pricing in no cut at the January meeting. But there's lots more data to look through in that month between then and now. Back to you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Thank you very much, Adara. All right, so we're doing quite well finally here on RUM. We just took out some there at 82s. Appreciate you guys. We took out nice, almost the HOD right now on GameStop. We're dancing with 31. I'm waiting at 05s, Joseph. 07 is the high of the day, so I'm looking to front run the size. Now, if we can break above that $31 area on GameStop, can we squeeze a little bit here? We've had trouble. As Niels mentioned many times, this high 30s area has been trouble. We showed it to you on the daily chart earlier. There has been a higher low kind of situation with GameStop, but not necessarily that higher high. You're getting a bit of a flat top. We usually know what that means. There's going to be probably a squeeze through that level sometime, soon on GameStop. When? Who knows? But that's kind of how it acts. It kind of accumulates slowly, every day up 2-3%. Today it's up almost 4%, and then we get some sort of a bigger catalyst right now with GameStop. So packing my patience over here, waiting for that 31.05 break and take on GME, showing 31s again here on the ask, but not forthcoming quite yet. RUM, we took out some there. Now we're waiting on the north side of 14. Well, 14, 17 is the HOD. So I'd like to take out some in front of the whole dollar level. We know how the whole dollar level can act as an area of psychological resistance, even if you don't really have a rejection there from a previous ascension. So we're going to keep my eyes on RUM and GameStop. Those are the two we're involved in right now. I'm keeping my eye, obviously, on CHEK. It's been obviously strong, up 105%, but it is still trading below the volume weighted average price. And DRCT, continues to make higher highs and higher lows, but also continues to halt to no end. So right now, HOD 395, now currently down halted at 370. I said 13 again. 395 halted at 370. It's up 572%. But, you know, even though it's been halting to no end, look at how respectful it is of the moving averages. And it's also respectful of the trend, putting in higher lows and lower highs. So if you're able to get into this one at a good level when it is open, you probably have done well. So let me know how you've traded today, DRCY, because I tried to trade it earlier and I had a bit of a mixed result with that. So here we go. Again, here with GameStop now showing 3104s on the ask, 30.99 on the bid. I'm waiting at 05, so very close to getting filled. We'll have to pack our patience and see if we can get that fill. Carl Gruen, wetting my beaks in rum. Shout out to you, my man. Looks like we're both doing the same thing over here. Rum, knocking the door, 14, 13.93, 14 incoming, my man. So hope you're taking some profits there. I'm waiting at the north side of 14 because I don't have too many outs left. Sadly, we didn't get the dip trade at 13 1/3 like I had planned. In fact, I had moved it up to 13.40, but wasn't able to get printed on the way down. So we're holding a smaller position here on RUM. So I got to wait for that print north of 14. Otherwise, don't want to take anything out there. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do you're going to do it?
I don't got it, my guy. You got it.
Oh, I'll take it over. No worries. Over here. So we're doing e-signal, Joseph. Okay. Let's have a look at the amazing platform of e-signal, guys. This is a platform that helps you trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite trading experience. You can do a bunch of stuff with this one. You can analyze, you can strategize, and hopefully after all that, you'll be able to capitalize by foreseeing those profitable opportunities with the platform that you need. You get a bunch of stuff. You get infinite data. You get instant trading. You get to know where the market is moving before others with that lightning fast data and execution. And a lot of people really compliment their charts. Some would say they have charts that change the game by customizing and analyzing the markets faster and in your way. And we all know a sound trading strategy requires sound back testing, and that's what you get here. You get better back testing, you get better scanning. You can predict the future by understanding the past, reliable real-time data up to the second market information from hundreds of global markets. It's everything you need all in one place, so don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. If you're ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code on the bottom right of your screen or click the link, Joseph. In the description.
Beautiful stuff there.
Shout out to the great folks there at eSignal. Here we go. Rum on the way to 14, knocking on the door. There is size here of note at 14. There's about maybe a bit more than 1,000 lots. We'll have to see if that's enough to prevent us from ascending. I'm going to submit to you that in addition to what we're seeing here on the book, waiting at 14, there is likely a plethora of hidden orders at that level as well. And boom, and we take it out. And boom, we take out that high of the day now on, or no, we're not at the high of the day yet, but we take out that 14, 14.07. Here comes 10s on Rumble. Good breakout there off the 20 exponential dip on RUM. Let's see if we can take out that 17s, 14.17 HOD, Joseph.
Beautiful stuff. Okay, so my good buddy in the chat, Darius Golden, had a really good question about me about these. He said he bought some MU puts at 88 strike price. Okay, Darius, and you're looking for 83. So I just want you to keep in mind for when you constructed this trade, right? For you to get that 83 price target, we need to break these key support levels, all right? I know you only have 3 days until that options expire, so by the end of the week. I want you to just keep in mind, so after we had that gap down day here, just keep in mind, you're buying that put at an extended premium, at a heightened premium, right? Because of the volatility that stepped in. Now, you might lose a little bit of value from a volatility standpoint because the volatility is starting to compress now. It's not as vast as it was. It is now starting to pull back in. So you're not going to get the larger price movements, okay? So in order for this to work in the next couple of days, in the next 3 days, you really need that volatility to step in, especially if you're aiming for that $83 price target, all right? So you may as well, I don't want to predict this, but it's going to be a tough look because you need it to move 6 points or so with very limited amount of time. And it was paid at a heightened premium because of that volatility step in, all right? So So just keep that in mind for your thesis. If it doesn't work out in the next couple of days or so, maybe just cut the trade. I don't know, just have your risk management implemented. I'm glad that you just outright bought the put because that risk is already somewhat defined, so good luck on that front. But just also keep in mind, with that volatility skew coming into the downside here, just keep in mind you're paying a heightened premium, and then with price not moving as much, that ATR starting to cool off a little bit, it's going to be harder for you to exceed that 83 price target and or reach it unless volatility steps in. So just keep that in mind. I don't dislike the 83 puts, but if only you had a little bit more time, all right? So yeah, always just trying to be a straight shooter, man. Just trying to tell you how I see it. I may not be right. I may be wrong. And hopefully in this case, I am wrong, especially because I know you're holding those 88 puts. But just be aware, when you have that massive volatility spike, it's always best again, this is just from me, what I would do. You want to sell options with higher volatility, right, opposed to buying them at heightened volatility. It wants to be the inverse. So that's when we were talking about the VIX the other day. Before the FOMC is when you wanted to be buying puts or calls, right? You want to buy puts or calls leading into potential higher volatility spikes, okay? And then that's when you flip that. When you have that heightened volatility is when you want to start writing options or selling options, okay? So when you write or sell an option at heightened volatility, you have the anticipation that that volatility or the average true range of that stock is going to start dwindling day after day because you had that massive 10% move. The stock or the underlying isn't going to move 10% every day for the foreseeable future. That volatility skew is going to start to tighten, opposed to, again, when you are buying something, you want that volatility to expand, okay? So kind of the inverse of what's going in. You bought that put with volatility going to start to tighten when you kind of want to do the inverse on that. I hope that you print on this MU put. Again, you're a little time constrained, totally fine. I still like your thesis. I like how you're going for it. You're taking a shooter shot there on this one because anything can happen. It can gap down. It can do it. Anything along those lines, but just remind, you paid a little bit more than what you would do on a day-to-day basis opposed to having that massive gap down day. So hopefully that helped you and gave you a just general idea of what I would personally do. But again, it's totally your position and you can do what you want. Just my 2 cents there, brother. So I do hope you get that 83 target on MU. Now, let's go back to Google, which I am in. All right, and take a look at what Google is up to. We did get a little bit of a spike there, and I thought, okay, are we going to go and test that high a day? Because then I would have started taking out some around the 194.50 level. But sure enough, we're coming back down into that range and looking like we're going to continue to consolidate. I was hoping that we got out of our SPY trade roughly up here as well, too, because that would have been a nice gain for us. But again, we got about 17 minutes or less than. We mark at 55. So about 12 minutes or so before we were to document that trade. But again, we're starting to come back in. The mega caps are starting to pull in as well too. So with that, the SPY is moving. So Meta was pulling in there. NVDA still hovering around those higher days, up about 3.17% on the session. So again, I'm not going to try to fight these mega cap tech stocks. I was looking to participate in them, but I kind of just got caught in that consolidative phase, which is totally fine, and we're not going to complain about it today. That is for sure. But guys, continue to let me know what you are looking at in the chat, and then we will go over those. But Darius, hopefully you print on that MU. Again, you bought that out at the money strike and have a definitive price target. Again, you know you have some time restraints. Totally fine. I know you know what you're getting into, but just my sense. Next time, just wait for volatility. You don't want to be buying options premium at heightened volatility. You more or less want to sell them if you're familiar with that. And then look to buy those contracts when we're at low volatility, when that options premium is significantly low, and then you have the anticipation of that volatility to step in on that underlying asset, all right? So hopefully that helped you, Darius, and I hope that you have a beautiful trade on that, because now that you mentioned it, I'll be monitoring it as well too. But I want to look at BAC because I know it had that catalyst earlier in the session, and sure enough, it's starting to recover, it seems to be, on the day. So let's pull it up and zoom in here from a time frame. Yeah, it had that massive volatility spike in here as well too, guys. Massive engulfing candles, selling pressure to the full, and then slowly starting to recover, heading back into that range that it was created in. So not a trade that I'm going to be looking to partake in there. Again, we only got 15 minutes left here. I'm not going to put on any more positions other than the ones that I currently have going on. So yeah, guys, continue to let me know. NVDA broke up. NVDA continuing to move higher. Yeah. Okay. Is it going to hit 140 here?
It's 139.07, but like it's just continuously higher highs and higher lows.
Yeah, and we got some volume in on it as well too, Sharif. So good luck. This thing is strong, man. So we're not going to try to fight this trend, especially on a day like this, up about 3.2% on the session.
All right, we took a dip trade here on, well, there we go. We got stopped out as quickly as we said it. So tried to take a dip trade off the 10 exponential on RUM for the breakdown trade. I was looking for this one to hold higher highs and higher lows. Maybe I should have been basing it off the 20 exponential. Oh, looks like we took out that too quickly. Too tight of a stop there. Up we go again. So maybe I'll get right back into this one. There we go. We're going to get right back in. Going to base my trade off that. There we go. Now we're doing okay. Let's set up over here at 77s for a beak wetter. There we go. Now we're going to set up at 88s as well. So yeah, I got shaken out of that, but it looks like we are moving back a little bit here on RUM. I was looking for that dip trade. Too tight of a stop gets you in trouble. Well, we're right back in at 68s now, waiting for 88s on RUM. Looking for it to hold above the 20 exponential and have another attempt at 14. It's been doing well. It's been putting higher lows and higher highs, but just bamboozling me at times. Here comes 88s. 87s now showing up on the ass. So we don't cross, showed 88s, but the spread a little bit too wide. Right back up into that level though. Let's see if we can get the fill. I'm gonna actually set up with a couple of more beak wetters in case 88s gets printed. We'll set up in the 90s, see if we can take out that 86s again here. Let's go, bro. All right, so we'll pack our patience here. Not get too excited about that. Looking for RUM to continue up to the upside. There we go. Now we get the print at 88s. We're long at 68s. Let's see if we can get that print above 90. I'm waiting at 95s for the next one. So RUM did dip back aggressively, which did have me trying to buy it off the 10. The 10 was the wrong one. I should have been basing it off the 20. Sucks to be me. Now, back to GME over here. We're still waiting for the print at 31.05. Not forthcoming. It did move up into 4s, but now it's below 31 again. Still not coming back down into VWAP though. In fact, actually holding the 10 exponential moving average. I'm talking about GME. So I don't have any more to add right now. So that's why I'm waiting at 31.05s. We'll see if that level is forthcoming. And bang, we take it out in front of 14 here on RUM. Nice. Okay, I'm happy that I was able to be a bit more aggressive with this one. We'll take out more there on the break of 14. We're long. 68s just took out 14.05s. Let's see if this one wants to break out 14.20. That is technically now the high of the day on RUM. Let's see how many outs I have left on this one. Yeah, we have got a couple of more outs, so I'm going to wait right in front of that high of the day. I'm going to wait at 17s, and then I'm going to wait at the breach of the high. I'm going to wait a third of a dollar. Here we go again, showing 10s now. Yep, here come 10s. Good strength on the way up here on RUM. Let's see if it's able to take out that 10 penny level. No, not yet. There seems to be a bit of an iceberg at 9, in fact, not even 10. So pack our patience, up 95% here on RUM. Guys, CHEK is going. It's going to take that $1.50. This one I traded very poorly, but look, when you look at it after the fact, it looks very bull flaggish. $1.50 involved right now. That is where we're trading at the high of the day on CHEK. Is it going to halt up here or what? Looks like it's really pausing up here, so I'm expecting to see a halt come in awfully soon. Not quite yet. 148. So we're zigging and zagging right now on CHEK. Good strength on this one. It's up 152%, but it has been halting, and it was below VWAP for the majority of the time, so I didn't want to base any trades off it. There we go. We take out the high of the day. 152 now on CHEK, up 157% as I look. So good look right now on CHEK, but we're going to have to focus right now. Boom, as we take out the high of the day on RU1. We're long 68s. Now I'm waiting at 33s. The volume is really picking up here, and the tape movement, the book movement is really picking up here on RUM. We're at the $0.25. Let's see if we can take out the $0.25 and move into the third of a dollar here on RUM. So packing my patience on this one, trying to make back for the dumb trades I had before, and yeah, feeling a little bit better. It's funny how good trades make you feel better, huh?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know about that today. I wouldn't know about that today.
Aw, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Where's that $1/3 of a dollar at, Joseph? I've been waiting. What's up? You guys trading Rumble? We're trading Rumble. The OB, he is a bang. There it is, Joseph. We take out the high of the day on RUM. Okay, Obi brought the good juju with him.
Yeah, he brought the red sweater with him too. Yeah, and
he brought the red sweater. Who would have known?
Got that fresh.
Who would have known?
My guy.
Good times today. All right, man.
I have a question from Darius Golden here, if you don't mind.
Go for it. Of course, brother.
So Darius, he says my delta is negative 0.47 with a theta of negative 0.2. So your theta will always be negative, Darius. But mind you, your delta can vary from your puts to your calls. So on the put side, you're going to see that negative delta always. All right. So when you have a negative delta of 0.47, so that means in every point to the downside, you'll see in MU, that contract value will increase by $47 or 47 cents in options term, but also keep in mind in gamma, so once you get that 1 point move, the gamma will change and then the delta will change again too. But as of right now, from what it stands, for every point to the downside, you'll see a $47 increase in that options contract. But now with a theta of negative 0.12, that means that every day that goes by sitting at that current price, that options contract will lose $12 of value every single day, Darius. So just keep that in mind, all right? That's that. Sorry, you can continue because I know we were talking
absolutely,
about that,
man. That's really good information, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you.
CHE case coming back down into VWAP here. Even though it just printed the high of the day, I'm hesitant to base anything off VWAP because I've already made the point that I don't think it was respecting the volume weighted average price. So I'm really interested in getting in 152 bump and drop, and it comes back into $1.30. It's met with a lot of buying at that $1/3 of a dollar. It's just about whether I want to nurse this trade going into the show with only 8 minutes left, and whether or not I'm likely to get the high of the day break before that time is up. I really don't think so. So I'm gonna hold off on this one, but I do like a dip trade off that $1.30, and I should have taken it. Here we go into buck mid-40s. Can we take out that $1.52? It feels like there was a lot of selling at that $1.52 last time. I wasn't watching the tape or the book when we were at there, but the price action shows me that there was quite a bit of selling in front of the $0.50. Adara's at the big desk.
Keep an eye on Microsoft here. Reuters reporting that the company is trying to reduce its reliance on OpenAI by integrating some models that are either internal models or models from third parties into their 365 Copilot. This is apparently due to greater efficiency and cost savings. So Microsoft may be trying to spread its wings a little bit away from OpenAI using non-OpenAI models in its 365 Copilot. Keep an eye on MSFT, guys. Back to you.
It's actually quite interesting because if you watch the book deal conference, if you watch the Altman's interview with Sorkin,
Sammy A.
Yeah, he makes it clear that they don't always see eye to eye on most things actually with Microsoft. And there's been points of tension where Microsoft's want them to go a certain way, and you know how Altman is, he's quite stubborn and he wants to do his own thing. So it's interesting to see Microsoft kind of not rely as much on OpenAI. By the way, I can't believe I didn't even talk about this.
Oh, wow.
Do you know that 3.0 or
Oh, yes.
3
is out. Yeah. He said.
So we just got
Double
01,
testing.
Joseph, like what, 2 months ago, a month ago, something like that. Now we're 03, but we don't have the full 03. It's 03 preview, and apparently this thing is bonkers.
I heard
how good it is.
Yeah, I heard that like someone with a math PhD, it would take them like a week or a couple of weeks to solve this math equation. It can do it like in a split
It's nuts,
second.
bro, and it's like the level of the thinking. Say that again. Yeah, he's like humans.
Yeah.
So old school.
Yeah, humans. Yeah.
Who uses humans, right? Shout out to SP Williams, $5.
Dude, you gotta watch Ex Machina, man. It's like the ultimate AI movie.
Joseph, I barely watch
man.
movies, man.
I call it Ex Machina. You guys all make fun of me how I said it. It's Machina, whatever you would like to call it. Tomato.
Leave the guy alone today, bro. We're all you know, coming off.
What's the actual here? Say it in my ear. What's the actual pronunciation? Even Neil's laughing at me. What's that? Machina. All right. Macaroni and cheese, man.
Yeah. All right, let's get to SP Williams' super chat. Thank you again, SP, for the $5. If we can go to the chart, boys, because we're looking at LAES. It's called Seals Q Corp. They have a $454 million market cap with 112 million shares traded on the day, and the float is a nice 13.5 million shares or thereabouts. And it's one that we've traded before, but I just want to refresh myself on the short float. 10.75%. Shout out to SP. This is a beautiful looking chart, and the fact that I didn't have eyes on this makes me feel like one of the worst small cap gappers traders ever, because I wasn't looking at my scanner. I need to be constantly apprising myself of the latest movers, and this is definitely one of them. Beautiful look for LAES. This is the 5-minute look right now. Look, I like it possibly off that 10 exponential, which right now at 443. Perhaps start building your position at 4.5. There's also this area, previous area of resistance at around 4 1/3, 4 1/4. You had a couple of areas reject off that 4 1/3, 10.05. We got up there, we rejected. Then you had a 2-candle rejection at 10.50, 10.55. So I could definitely see a 4.30 dip and bounce into that area, but I personally start building my position at around the $0.50, knowing that that area sometimes with these small cap gappers is a bit of an area of psychological support. As you dip into the $0.50, people like to place orders in and around there. So good look there for LAES. I think you're asking me about the intraday look, but let's look at the daily. It's a beautiful look daily, man. I mean, look at this thing. It's a dang rocket ship, and it hasn't been giving it back since earlier in December. December 10th, essentially, was the big boy volume day. Since that time, it's been a symphony of higher highs and higher lows. Another great day for LAES. What does this company do, Joseph? They're a Switzerland-based holding company operating primarily in the semiconductor industry. They focus on developing and selling tamper-resistant semiconductor chips, processors, and post-quantum technology products. Don't know what the hell post-quantum means, but anything that uses quantum seems to be in vogue these days, as Obi said. So good look right there. I mean, I like it. I'm very disappointed with myself for not having seen this one. I build my position, SP, at around that 4.5 entry-level position, and I'd be looking for a dip into about 4 1/3, either the 10 exponential or that 4 1/3. On LAES. Let me know how it goes. I'd love to know how you traded this after the fact. Keep me or Joseph apprised. I've been waiting here for a hot minute at 31.05 on GameStop. GameStop's having a lot of trouble breaking through 31. There's really no size here on the book to prevent us from ascending above 31. So by default, you can tell it's a hidden seller, an iceberg order at the whole dollar, preventing us from ascending. You know, what kind of size the iceberg's got over here, hard to know. Keep your eye on the time and sales if you're trying to gauge how much selling is coming in at the $31 area, because you're not going to see it posted there. So good look right now for GameStop, looking for that 31.05 break and take, but Joseph, it's not forthcoming right now.
No, it's not, Sharif. I documented the trade once we got out at 155 there, guys. So a nice W, a quick $59 winner right there for us, bringing us on that positive trajectory. So again, having a bunch of fun with this. Nice work, guys. Sharif and I went short. Hey, we were wrong, man. This market is strong. So you went short, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we went short. I voted short. I don't even know if Obi voted. Obi, did you vote? I don't know. Did you vote on the Playmaker poll? On the Playmaker poll. Oh, man. All right. So we got to talk to Obi after this here. We have to have a one-on-one with him because we need to get him to vote on this. I'm curious to what Neil voted as well, too. So you voted long. Neil voted long. Adara, what did you vote on the Playmaker poll? She didn't vote. Oh my God! So we have now. Now we have a double meeting. We got to talk to Obi and Adara after this here. Have a little talk in the green room there and see what's going on. But yeah, guys, nice look there on the Playmaker poll. Congratulations to everybody. Another victorious day. Hey, let's actually see. Let me pull this back up here real quick before we send it off to the big boys, and let's see what our accuracy is here. I think we're still hovering around that 50%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, 50% win rate. That's absolutely fantastic. 50% win rate. Buying SPY at 1 o'clock, Sharif, and selling it at 155 out of 12 trades seems to be a positive system thus far. I was talking to Jose on Friday. He's like, yeah, I was telling him about it. He's like, yeah, we need to collect a lot of data on this. So I'm looking forward to doing that. But as of right now, 50% on 12 trades. Good stuff there. Leave them with some final thoughts there.
We've got all the time in the world. Every day we do the show, we're going to do the Playmaker poll. We've named it so nicely. By the way, I wanted to mention before we go to the big boys over here, and we're going to send it to them. An individual was doing research for us. They're finding out exactly what post-quantum meant. Shout out to Water Lover. Post-quantum is the development of cryptographic algorithms that are designed to be secure against attacks from quantum computers. Adara and I were talking about that at the Big Desk this morning. We were talking about the likes of PanW, CrowdStrike, and all the other cybersecurity names and how they're going to have to change their modus operandi, their technology to account obviously for quantum computing because, you know, the encryption technology right now, you know, I don't think it's up to snuff for quantums. GameStop is above 31. Whether it can break above that 30.05 or not, bang, we're going to take it to end the show there. We get the big top off 31, guys. Keep your eye on GameStop.